It's built on solid ground. This house wasn't built on the sand, so it ain't coming down. This house was built on the rock. It's built on solid ground. This house wasn't built on the sand, so it ain't coming down.
All right, fam, we are live on Facebook.
Ain't no need for me wondering. No man
Get a few more moments. Please get your heart and mind set on the Most High Yah.
You're my purchase, you're my everything. You're my everything.
I gotta check the.
You're my everything. You're my everything.
Hey, you should know I've been here for a while. You carry heavy bricks on your hips and never put them down. And now your shoes is looking heavy. Let me walk them out. Let's adjust the volume. Sometimes this world is just too loud. Saw exactly what went down, and it was
all right, fam. Those of you that are following on Facebook, just go to the Biblical Hebrew Awakening Facebook page. You should already be on it.
It's beautiful.
And
Did you not know the value of your work is far above a million precious stones?
Calling
You
in
are so much more than something someone should possess.
joining the conversation via Zoom. We'll be getting here started in literally about 3 minutes. It's 2:58, so I'll make that 3:01. We'll get started in prayer. This is the point in time to go ahead and notify all your folks that we are live. About to get it in.
You got my back when the ground falling from under me. You got my confidence, ain't no need for me wondering. No Matthew 14:30. You help me walk on the sea. You everything that a virtuous woman should be. Woman, you're my purchase, woman. You're my everything. 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 You're my everything.
You the virtuous woman that I've been seeking for. She's more precious than rubies and gold. This I know. The Most High made you beautiful. When the sun kisses you, your melanin glows. I crown you my Hebrew queen. Let's come into a covenant thing. Where the Torah's our foundation. There won't be no rips in the seams. Whoso findeth for wife, findeth for good thing. And obtain the favor of Yahuwah. My purpose is to protect you and love you. I just want you to know you're my lioness. I love the way you carry yourself, modest and righteous. Let's come together in one flesh and be about the Father's business.
From the first greeting of the day in the morning to the way you sing the baby's tears away to you yawning. The tone in your voice is the sweetest of sound, sporting strength and eloquence like a gown. To the chosen few of renown, you the jewel in my crown. Love the way that you raise a nation upon a Hebraic foundation of our ancestral ways, teaching the next generation our heavenly Father Yahweh's words to be praised, spoiling me the rest of my days, graciously swearing in rhythm with timelessness, giving it rhyme and reason, seeking righteousness. Through wisdom is a house built, understanding establishes it. And by knowledge shall the chambers be filled with precious and pleasant riches. You my melanated princess, your presence is heaven sent.
Yahuwah is righteous in all his ways, and holy in all his works. Yahuwah is nigh unto all of them that call upon him. To all that call upon him in the truth, he will fulfill the desire of them that fear him. He also will hear their cry and will save them. Psalms 145, 17 through 19. What side of the truth you on? Walk in the spirit, I know I'm on. 613 Torah strong. No flex, zone, sound alarm, my brother home. Melchizedek, my brother known. You don't know your identity? Yeah, you some kin to me. Yeah, that's your enemy. Dealing with them, you'll never be free. If you wanna see, read Job 2 and 3. Time to pick a side. Choose righteous and live. Choose the world and die. And when he crack that sky, you gon' have to fry. Right now, you still got time. Dust off the Bible, repent, go line for line. Ask the Father, lead you. Have faith and believe him. Worldly ways, leave them. Enter in the truth and receive them.
What side of the truth are you on? Right now you looking lukewarm. Incline your ear to hear, cause the sound of the horn is the last alarm. What side of the truth are you on? Right now you looking lukewarm. Incline your ear to hear, cause the sound of the horn is the last alarm. What side of the truth are you on? What side of the truth are you on? What side of the truth are you on? Right now you looking lukewarm. Incline your ear to hear, cause the sound of the horn is the last alarm. What side of the truth are you on? Right now you looking lukewarm. Incline your ear to hear, cause the sound of the horn is the last alarm. Which side of the truth are you on? Before you look up and it's all be gone. You are not savage, far from average. This is just like Rome. You was born in the danger zone. Don't let them get up in your dome.
Right,
it's
fam.
evident, I'm telling it, it's relevant. Brother, melanin's worth more than gold. So tell me, what's your goal? Mine is to grow your soul and to take away the fake and the religion. Why do they plot in vain? Why did they change your name? Well, research Mr. Lynch and read the making of a slave. You ain't free, they took your chains away and put you in a cage. Then they gave you liberty and they told you was free. But that's like halftime in the blind side, brother. That is not the same thing. Take a trip with me back through history. This is my gift, you see. What side of the truth are you on? Right now you looking lukewarm. Incline your ear to hear, cause the sound of the horn is the last alarm. What side of the truth are you on? Right now you looking lukewarm. Incline your ear to hear, cause the sound of the horn is the last alarm. What side of the truth are you on? What side of the truth are you on? What side of the truth are you on? Right now you looking lukewarm. Incline your ear to hear, cause the sound of the horn is the last alarm. What side of the truth are you on? Right now you looking lukewarm. Incline your ear to hear, cause the sound of the horn is the last alarm.
Which side of the truth is you on? Yahusha told you he'd rather you be hot or cold, so be bold in the word. He's spitting out lukewarm. Milk sitting out too long, gets curds up in it. Man, to get the worms up in it. Don't let it go to waste. James 1:8, a double-minded man's unstable in all his ways. Ephesians 2:8, for by grace are ye saved through faith. Trust Yah Elohim and everything will fall in place. Call and praise his name in a time of need. Paraphrasing Matthew 17-20, all it takes is a grain of mustard seed, amount of belief to move mountains. Ain't no time and no need for you to be doubting. Half-stepping, walking around with no protection. Head in the clouds with death headed your direction and ready to pounce. Proverbs 3:7, be not wise in thine own eyes. Renounce evil, fear Yahuwah Elohim, and be ready to give an account. Culture will not be beyond reproach, you know, amenable, enduring, and preferring sound doctrine over nonsense. Yahusha, the conquering lion, the Judah, can't use you with no conscience.
Proverbs 21:16, the man that wanted out a way of understanding should remain in the congregation of the dead. The Most High said, if you continue in your wicked ways, he will give you over to a reprobate mind. Yahushua coming back with the sword and to draw the line between the unrighteous and the righteous. He's sifting the wheat from the tares. If only our people knew they were heirs and not being led by false prophets and doctrines of man. We headed for destruction in desolate lands, and Yahuwah my loyalty stands. Which side of the truth you win? Right now you looking lukewarm. Our people need to understand that the Bible is black history. They keep it from us like mysteries. Right now it's time to turn back to the Most High's majesty. Anything outside of that is just insanity. Repent, confess your iniquity. Beware your enemy's trickery. Don't end up another casualty in this spiritual war that we facing. Face it.
Hello?
Shalom.
Oh.
Shalom. How are you guys?
All right. Can you hear me?
Good. How you doing? Yeah, you in here.
Oh, okay. Testing out. I got my own new setup. Testing it all out. Are we not? We don't share video, right? Or are we sharing video? Or what's?
We were just listening to some music from one of the part of the body.
Okay.
Hey, y'all, I'm back. Hey, I apologize. We had an email that was having some problems getting her system set up, so I had to pause to try to help her out. All right, I'm in the music. We are streaming live on Facebook. My sister Mayala, I'm gonna need you to not mute yourself, but just reduce the volume of your phone or your computer system because it's feeding back into. It's looping back.
Okay, thank you.
Just reduce it down a little bit. If you don't have to turn it off, just reduce it so it's not looping back.
Is that good?
Let's see. Yeah, that's better. Way better. Why am I looking at somebody's phone thing? That's weird. I've never seen that before. Hey, but we in here. We are in here. One moment. All right, everybody, if you got a lot going on in your area, then don't worry about it. But everybody unmute yourself, say hello. We are live. And it's good to see you guys again. Another blessed Shabbat. We in this place. We in the building. So go ahead and unmute yourselves and say hello if you want to. This is an opportunity. Go ahead and say hi. Show your face.
Shabbat.
Show the
Shabbat
pearly
shalom,
whites.
family. Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shalom.
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 Yes.
If you are viewing online, again, you can just do a bit of digging. You'll find the key to call in, the link, and all that stuff. It should be there. You can find it. All right, y'all. Hey, it's been a great week. Let's take a few moments. Does anybody have any testimonies they want to go ahead and give before we get started? Give some praise and honor to the Most High Yah. Anybody got any testimonies they want to share before we get into this thing? Again, this is your opportunity. Go ahead and unmute yourself and jump right in.
I do. This is Brother Davon.
My brother Davon back in the building. Go ahead, brother.
So I had a doctor's appointment, and it was for my liver.
Mm-hmm.
The doctor just seen me last week, but the Most High baffled him.
Okay, all right.
Because he was expecting something to be wrong. There was nothing.
Praise Yah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Praise Yah.
Hallelujah. My templates were 3 times the normal. And he was just scratching his head, rubbing his elbow.
He said rubbing his elbow. Huh? He's like, That's funny.
It's like, is this jinx? What is this? How can that be? And I'm just like, that's the Most High.
All right,
So that's my testimony that the Most High blessed tremendously.
Praise God.
And he's continually bathing. That's my testimony.
Hey, praise Yah. Hey, hallelujah.
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 That's what I'm talking about. Most High Yah showing out, letting it be known. I'm the King of Glory.
Give him glory.
Oh man, that's what I'm talking about, man.
Amen.
Yeah, man.
Praise Yah, man. Hallelujah, man. Let it be known. It is what it is.
Amen.
It is what it is. That brings me much joy. I appreciate hearing the testimony like that. Man, anybody else got a good testimony? Go ahead and bring it all out. That's hard to follow up, but you know the Most High is the Most High, so everything counts.
Hallelujah. I started a new job. First time I get to work with Akim the Truth.
Okay.
So, praise Yah for that.
Hallelujah, man.
Hallelujah.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Hallelujah.
Especially right now, man. That's major.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, put that faith out there. Get it working. Anybody else?
Yeah, I got one too. My sister went into the hospital this week, and she was in a pretty dark place, but she's like really on the road to recovery. Family's been praying for her and everything, so she's really, everything's really looking up for her. So I just ask that y'all continue to pray, for my sister, and but she'll be good. So we've been seeing the Most High just doing amazing things in her, and so just want to give that testimony. She'll be living right. You know what I'm saying? So
praise Yah.
Praise
yeah,
Yah.
man.
Amen.
Yeah, absolutely. Praise Yah.
Hallelujah.
Praise Yah. All right. Anybody else jump right in? This is time for testimonies.
I have a small testimony. I mean, it's not nothing big or nothing, but I just give
It's all good.
I praise the Most High that He blessed us to put together an all vegetable Shabbat meal, and it took us hours. My coach was in here for hours trying to figure it out, but we made eggplant parmesan, and it was so good. It came out so good. So I just give the Most High all praises for that, because trying to do something all vegetables and just take a day away from meat, it was like kind of hard to figure out how to do, but we did it. We did it. Me and my coach, hallelujah.
Praise Yah. Praise Yah.
Yeah. You know, you
That's
got
what I'm
to share
talking
that
about.
recipe, right, Akoti?
So they got to share
I
that
got you
recipe.
covered. It took me a while to figure it out, but I got you covered on.
All right.
All right, family. Anybody else?
We've been praying about hearing more precisely or hearing clearer. And I was going through a dry spot for a little while, actually for a long while. And I had a talk with one of the ox last first day of the week. And it was something that I said with the ox. And it was almost like a Job moment. It was something that I was saying to encourage him and something, a commonality that I saw. And right after that, the Most High started speaking to me and started showing me that he's still here and that he ain't went nowhere. It was me that moved and told me to stay in position, and I'll continue to increase in hearing.
Praise Yah.
Yeah.
I'm talking about. All right. Anybody else? Jump right in. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and continue. I would say, listen, this has been a powerful week. A lot's been going on this past week within the ministry across the board. I just want to give all praise to the Most High Yah for what he's doing in and through the assemblies, local leadership, senior leadership, just as a ministry as a whole, and really in total the entire nation of Israel. I praise Yah for that, and just his hand being upon us during these times. And also the fact that, you know, we're in good health. All right, we're being restored, and even some of those, you know, we have some health challenges we're dealing with. We have to operate and stand by faith, and be all good. All right. So, one second. Hey, you know, I run a tight ship, so I'm trying to figure out. I don't know what the question was, or somebody asked. For the brother with the burning skull, I'm not sure if you were just trying to explain yourself to somebody. I got you. Okay. Yeah, if you can remove the burning skull move, then go ahead and do that. Show your face, say hi. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but we don't want to have nothing crazy flashing up. Now, I don't think it's going to show on Facebook, but for everybody here, I don't think we want to look at nothing crazy.
Yeah,
Up.
no, I'm sorry about that. That's just my default thing on my Google thing. I'll try to remove that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's good, man. It all works out.
Okay. Let me turn my video off and I'll work on that.
No, you're good. You're all good. All right, fam. So let me go ahead and let's jump right into it. I'm gonna go ahead and pray, and then we'll be good to go. So 1 second. I'm gonna screen share. Eventually, where's it at?
Maury, I have a quick question. Do you mind if the children share what they learned real quick to everybody?
They absolutely can share. Go ahead and do that thing.
All right. Hold on, wait. Okay, now tell them. Okay, now tell them what y'all learned about.
So we learned about the armor of Yah.
Okay, and what is the armor of Yah?
The helmet of salvation, the breastplate of the belt. No, it's the breastplate of the heart.
What about the heart? What does the heart have to be?
It has to be good.
Okay, what's another way of saying good? If it's not left, it's what?
Right.
So what's another word for good?
Righteous. Righteous. The breastplate of righteousness.
Okay, and now what else?
Hey, chicken burger, put that back on.
Hey, pay attention. Focus. And what's next?
And then there's the belt of the truth. The spirit.
No.
The truth. God,
Okay, so what's next? What's
That
Malachi, step back. And
We can
focus.
see y'all.
Focus, focus.
Yeah, focus, ladies.
Then we have the feet of peace.
Okay, and what else?
And the sword of the Spirit.
And what is the sword of the Spirit?
To help cut the demons' heads off. Off with your head.
So there's one more that you got.
You're not cutting off. Oh.
There's one more that you're
Keep
missing.
my head up.
Hey, focus, focus. There's one more that you're missing. What else are you missing? What about
The shield.
The shield of what?
The shield of protection, mommy.
So you have to have what in order to know who's our protector?
The most.
So what is that word when you have trust? When you have trust that the Most High is going to protect you? Give me this.
Hey.
What is that word? The shield of... Focus! Focus! The shield of what?
My tongue has faith. Hey,
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Hallelujah.
Any questions about what?
Hallelujah.
Anyone have questions about the armor of Yah?
Malachi,
We're just
stop.
grateful that you learned it. Very good that you all learned it.
I learned it too.
Y'all did.
Awesome.
Hey, very good. I gotta give y'all a hand clap on that one. Great job. Great job, everybody.
Good job.
Look, I can do
That was awesome. Hey, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. You guys did a great job. Each and every one. You guys are a blessing to me. All right. And you guys have blessed everyone this day. So hallelujah. Hallelujah. Let's go ahead and get it in. That's been awesome. We're starting it right. Getting the little ones. All right, fam. I am getting right into this. Hopefully you guys can see that. And I'm going to stop sharing my computer sounds. Some folks are trying to ding and all that. It's not messing with us. All right, so real quick testimony for me this week. Real excited. Publicly announced what I've been working on in regards to some websites. Now, the first one's the top right-hand side, HebrewConnect.org. HebrewConnect.org is a website that is designed by Hebrews for Hebrews, okay? And you know, it gives me great pleasure to reveal this to you all. I have been working on this for roughly about a year, and it came about because of the censorship I was seeing on Facebook, the censorship I was seeing on YouTube, content getting flagged. I had content flagged today where they interrupted my stream and different things like that. But I'm doing some things. The bottom line, it was birthed out of a need to create a platform that we as Hebrew Israelites, not black people, okay, but as Hebrew Israelites, for us to be able to connect with one another. And also, it's a place where we could be ourselves without the concern of other nations and Gentiles and other folks in our business. The reality is that the Most High pressed upon me that it's a publicly available site. Anyone can go to it. You can go look at the blogs. You could even chat with me as the site owner and administrator. But it's something where the internal aspects of the group, such as the forum pages, the members section, and different things like that, is specifically for Hebrews and Hebrew Israelites. Notice I did say Hebrews and Hebrew Israelites because not all Hebrews are Israelites. But I understand that many of our Hebrew brothers and sisters, primarily in the continent of Africa, are waking up too, and they want to be able to connect and reconnect back with the family. All right. And so, you know, it's something where, again, it was birthed out of a need for us to have a safe space to be vulnerable, especially when you're awakening to the truth of who you are as a Hebrew Israelite. You go through a full range of emotions, from anger, pain, frustration, disbelief, truly just being vulnerable. And I want to provide an environment where you can go through all you need to go through without having other nations, you know, in that space. Okay, because sadly, when you look at our history, and I mean truly, go look back at the majority, if not all, but I'll just say the majority of all of our movements and awakenings, Gentiles, non-Black people / you know, other nations have always sought to embed themselves or inject their thoughts, ideas, or beliefs into the movement that was taking place. All right. And so this is going to be truly a safe space for you to communicate. You can go ahead and create a platform for yourself to share your ideas. Many of you guys be writing like novels and trying to post them on Facebook, and you don't be shocked why it's not approved, because it's a Facebook post and you writing a full-blown 10-page thesis and trying to put that in the Facebook post. That's not really happening. But in this platform and in the internal forums, you have the ability to express yourself. Again, the main motivation is for us to connect as a people. We have to deal with ourselves individually, number one, then deal with our immediate families. From there, deal with the collection of families being a community, and from there as a nation. So if you're a Hebrew Israelite and you would like to get connected and have a platform that you will not be censored on, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, there's Torah guidelines and rules, right? We're going to have some guidelines, some structure, some rules. But if you want to have that platform environment where you can be free to discuss different topics and issues, you want to go ahead and share your content, whether it be music, whether it be remixes, whether it be your artwork, your music, whatever, you have a platform available for you to actually to do that there. Okay. And again, without the prying eyes of the world as you awaken to who you are. Okay. So top right-hand side, again, HebrewConnect.org. That is up and running right now. The secondary website is HebrewConnectTV.com, as well as Hebrew Connect TV. That is a YouTube replacement in essence. It's a video sharing platform. The front end is pretty much built out. I'm tying some loose ends down and you know, design wise, but that will be up pretty soon, where you'll be able to actually go ahead and share your video content on a Hebrew owned platform. Okay, again, this is not about being Black. We're going to talk about issues where people talk about being Black and so on and so forth. But again, the spirit behind this is these are platforms that are designed for us as Hebrew Israelites, dealing about topics and issues related to Torah. All right. So got that out the way. Let me go ahead and let's jump on through this. We are at part 6, y'all. We are at part 6. We're moving quite along. Part 6 of understanding biblical Hebrew, one character at a time. Go ahead and make sure you have your pens and paper ready. All right. We're going to do a recap like we always do. I'm only going to hit just what it is. I'm looking for something real quick and down and dirty. You don't have to elaborate. Just give me one of the possible soundings or meanings of the Hebrew alphabet until we get to our next set of 3 characters, and then we'll go from there. All right, so somebody go ahead. You guys should all be muted right now. but if you want to jump in, all I need is one. Just somebody jump in and tell me, what is this character as far as what is its name? What does it represent? What is its function?
It's the Aleph. Function is a strong ox or a strong leader. The letter.
All right. Great. What about this one?
The bait is the B sound, and it's a house, inside, within, with.
Or tent, right? Dwelling place. Awesome. What about this one?
That one is the Ga or the Gimel, and it's a foot, and it means to walk or to gather together or to carry.
Good job. What about this one?
It's the Dalet.
Break it down.
What is that? The
It's the Dalet. Door.
Mm-hmm.
The door.
All right. Very good.
Gangle.
What about this character?
It's the hay.
All right, break it down.
Praise. Behold.
Revelation, yeah.
All right, and this character?
The Wa.
Mm-hmm.
Nail. Secure. Connect.
Good job. What about this particular character?
Zion. To divide, separate, cut.
Great job. And this one?
Het.
The Het. Wall. Separation.
All right, and here we go. What about that one?
Da. Basket. Surround.
Great. And this one?
Yad.
Yad.
All right. And what's its purpose? What's its function?
To work, throw.
Good job. All right, this character.
Ka.
All right, break it down.
Open palm of a hand to receive or to pray, give praise.
Or to give.
Good job. What about this character?
Lam. It's the shepherd staff. It's the L sound, La. It means authority or teaching, correction, direction.
Good job. This character.
The Mem.
What's the ancient Hebrew sound?
Ma.
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 All right. Good job. Good job. And what is it? What is its function? What does it represent?
The flow.
Okay.
Liquid.
What else? Liquid. Specifically, water.
Chaos.
Water.
Chaos.
Ma.
All right. What about this particular character? What do we got here?
Na.
Na or Nun.
Seed.
Life.
Seed.
Growth,
Sun.
potential,
Seed.
continuation.
Good job. And this is the last one for our review.
Sa.
What that one?
Sa.
Support.
What does it represent?
Support, grab, protect.
Pierce.
Pierce.
Wall.
Defensive wall.
Defensive
Protection.
wall.
Protection, barrier from.
Protection barrier. Absolutely. Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm talking about. One second here. That's odd. All right, cool. Much appreciated. We got a new word. New word.
Ayin.
Ayin. All right. What does that look like to you?
Eye.
The eyeball, right? Looking at you.
Yep.
All right, let's get into it. Let me get a reader for this page.
Hebrew Ayin. The ancient picture for this letter is the picture of an eye. This letter represents the ideas of seeing and watching, as well as knowledge, as the eye is the window of knowledge. The name of the letter Ayin is a... Uh-oh, screen share dropped.
What's going on here?
The name.
How about now? We back?
Yeah,
Okay.
we back. The name of the letter Ayin is a Semitic word meaning eye. The letter is silent in modern Hebrew. There is no indication that the ancient Semitic had a sound for this letter as well, and appears to have been silent in the past. The Greek language assigned the vowel sound O to the letter, as the Hebrew did not have one letter for the O sound. The Greeks took this silent letter and converted it into a vowel.
All right, and so this will help you understand some things when you're looking at the names like Yahusha, Yahushua. There's a lot of different funky stuff that's going on. That's the reason why there's like 3 different variants for the name of Yeshua. So there's Yahusha, there's Yahushua, there's Yeshua. We're not going to get into that right now. I was going to, but for time's sake, I'm not going to do that. All right. Let me go ahead and get a reader for this one right here. Go ahead. Actually, I'll go ahead and read that. So the early Semitic ayin evolved into the simpler ayin, which is basically just a round, like a circle looking thing, right? It remained the same throughout the late Semitic period, but then evolved into the Aramaic ayin in modern Hebrew script, or Biblical Hebrew. All right. Biblical Hebrew, or the modern Hebrew, is basically a copy of the Biblical Hebrew, calligraphy type Aramaic font. All this is a font. It's just a way of writing. And again, like we talked about before, the Greeks turned this into their O. All right. And so there's different grammatical rules in regards to how you use this particular character, but we won't get into that right now. I'm just showing you the foundations or the basics right now. All right. I'd have more intermediate to advanced lessons we're going to go through in regards to the grammar structure. And again, like, what's the difference between the aleph and the ayin? Okay. Don't confuse the aleph and the ayin just because, what's the word? In the Latin languages, they both start with an A. Don't get tripped up. They're 2 different characters. They have 2 different meanings. And depending on where it's at in a word, it's going to have a different sound or saying. So we'll go from there. All right. what is this character? What's it look like?
A mouth.
What's the character?
Pay.
Pay. And it looks like a mouth. To me, it looks like a frisbee.
Hole.
Looks like a hole in something.
A hole in the ground? Yeah, no. It is a old school way of writing or drawing a mouth. It's had various designs throughout history, but this is the most common one that actually looks like what it means. All right, let me get a reader for this.
The Semitic word pay means a mouth, and there are several ancient Semitic pictographs believed to be this letter, none of which resemble a mouth. The only exception is the South African pictograph. The pictograph closely resembles a mouth and is similar to the later Semitic letters for the letter pay. This pictograph has the meanings of speak and blow from the functions of the mouth, as well as the edge of something from the lips at the edge of the mouth. The modern Hebrew name for this letter is pay. And as previously identified, it is the Hebrew word for mouth. There are two sounds for this letter.
The stop, P, like
the stop. Oh.
Right?
Uh-huh.
Go ahead.
And the spirit?
Mm-hmm.
Puh. Oh.
Yeah. Like phonetic.
Yeah.
Right? So
okay.
it's a breathy, like a right? Like essentially think of the function of when you're blowing on hot food.
Right.
Right? Blowing, speaking, so on and so forth. So when you see that, that's what we're dealing with here. All right. This is the evolution of the pay or the pay fe. All right. Again, the sound is going to be or. All right. Both are very, very similar. But again, different functions. Okay. So you look at the first one, it's like, a kind of janky stick figure version of, you could say, a mouth. Like if you, put two eyes, a nose, and a mouth, that would be kind of what you kind of do to keep it very simple. All right. That evolved into the next, which is the Middle Semitic script. All right. For a mouth from the side. If you look at it from the side, you can think of it from that way, which then the late Semitic script turned into what you will look like as a backward C. All right. Again, as far as the side of the mouth. All right. And then from the side of the mouth of the late Semitic script evolved into the Aramaic, again, pay and final pay. Final pay meaning that is only going to be seen at the end of a word. All right. So now you have a couple of characters you have to kind of look out for because they look kind of similar, right? You just got to be kind of careful because it's kind of, some of them look, the final characters look similar. They got the long stem. It kind of like, I'm looking at a dalet. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is this? Am I looking at some weird type of resh? Like, no. This is a final pay. All right. And we'll get into the grammatical details again later. All right, we'll get into that later. Got stuck. All right, what does this look like? It looks like all kind of crazy stuff. What does it look like to you? What do you think? Just looking at it, not trying to like pull back from nothing, like just looking at it, what's it look like?
Like a worm.
It looks like a stick figure.
Say again?
It's like a worm.
All right, I'm here like a worm. I see.
Looks like a traveler to the uterus.
He said a travel, bruh. Braham. I mean, you know, I don't even know what to say to that one. Okay.
How about a key?
Somebody said a key.
Uh-huh.
Oh man. All right, let's get into this. You know, hey, my screen got messed up.
Looks like a stick figure fell over.
Yeah, just like a stick figure, the big old head. All right, so the word side means side, as in a man laying on his side. There's a couple of different, there's like a longer version. I'm not sure why it's not showing. I gotta fix that. But bottom line, most ancient Semitic alphabets use pictographs which closely resemble the last pictograph, indicating that it was most likely the original form of the latter. Okay. So the meaning of this letter is the side of something, as well as hunting, chasing through, the idea of laying down in an ambush. The modern name for this, again, is Zadeh. And it's a child root from the word sad or tsa, also meaning side. All right. The phonetic sound of this letter is ts, 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 side, tsa. All right. Again, it's za. Okay. But over time, it's evolved to be tzad, zadeh. Okay, just vary it in the actual pronunciation. All right, and somebody read that for me, please. Let me get a reader for that.
The early pictograph Zadeh evolved into Zadeh in the Middle Semitic script and continued to evolve into the Zadeh in the late Semitic script. From the late Semitic script comes the modern Hebrew Zadeh and Zadeh. Modern Greek and Latin has no letter derived from this Semitic letter.
All right, so let me clarify. When you look at the late Semitic, right? So let me break this down evolution-wise. I'm not sure what happened right there. You have the early Semitic, Middle Semitic. After the Middle Semitic, they essentially cut that last part off where it makes it just this little piece right here. Y'all see that? And then what ended up happening is they inverted, where did my mouse go? They inverted this piece, all right, and which became this right here. All right. So these are the two Zadehs. I got this backwards. I got to fix that. But this is Zadeh in late Semitic, and I'm sorry, modern Hebrew or biblical Hebrew. And this is the final Zadeh. All right. So this is backwards, but I can fix that. So those two are the Zadehs. You can see, where cursor go? You can see that from here and then above is the same. The difference is the regular one's kind of like that. And the final one is a straight down. Straight down. All right. Any questions? Are we good? Why is my thing messing around like this? We good? No questions?
We just went over two letters, that pay and that's part of Pesach, isn't it?
Say it again.
The first two letters are part of Pesach, right? That we just went over.
Yes.
Okay.
Not this one though. The other one.
The pay.
So it's derived from it. Yes. There we go. It's messing up. That works. All right. That's that. That's part 6. Part 6. We're gonna take a 5-minute break. 5-minute break. Go ahead and get some snacks. Use the restroom. Grab something to drink. And then we're gonna get into the lesson, and then we're gonna get into the Testament of Simeon. So I will be right back. Five minutes. In fact, let me go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and do another track. Can y'all hear that? All right.
I don't hear anything.
How about now?
Still no sound.
Nope.
Whack.
Nope, don't hear anything.
Oh, I know why. Reset.
Yahuwah is righteous in all his ways and holy in all his works. Yahuwah is nigh unto all of them that call upon him, to all that call upon him in the truth. He will fulfill the desire of them that fear him. He also will hear their cry and will save them. Psalms 145, 17 through 19. What side of the truth you on? Walk in the spirit, I know I'm on. 613 Torah strong. No flex, zone. Sound alarm, my brother home. Melchizedek, my brother known. You don't know your identity? Yeah, you some kin to me. Yeah, that's your enemy. Dealing with them, you'll never be free. If you want to see, read Job 2 and 3. Time to pick a side. Choose righteous and live. Choose the world and die. And when he crack that sky, you gon' have to fry. Right now, you still got time. Dust off the Bible, repent, go line for line. Ask the Father, lead you. Have faith and believe him. Worldly ways, leave them. Enter in the truth and receive them.
What side of the truth are you on? Right now you looking lukewarm. Incline your ear to hear, cause the sound of the horn is the last alone. What side of the truth are you on? Right now you looking lukewarm. Incline your ear to hear, cause the sound of the horn is the last alone. What side of the truth are you on? What side of the truth are you on? What side of the truth are you on? Right now you looking lukewarm. Incline your ear to hear, cause the sound of the horn is the last alarm. What side of the truth are you on? Right now you looking lukewarm. Incline your ear to hear, cause the sound of the horn is the last alarm. Which side of the truth are you on? Before you look up and it's all be gone. You are not savage, far from average. This is just like Rome. You was born in the danger zone. Don't let them get up in your dome. It's evident, I'm telling it, it's relevant. Brother, melanin's worth more than gold. So tell me, what's your goal? Mine is to grow your soul, finna take away the fake and replace it with what the nation stole. Why did they plot in vain? Why did they change your name? Well, research Mr. Lynch and read the making of a slave. You ain't free, they took your chains away and put you in a cage. Then they gave you liberty and they told you was free. But that's like halftime in the blind side, brother. That is not the same thing. Take a trip with me back through history, this is my gift, you see. What side of the truth are you on? Right now you looking lukewarm. Incline your ear to hear, cause the sound of the horn is the last of long. What side of the truth are you on? Right now you looking lukewarm. Incline your ear to hear, cause the sound of the horn is the last of long. What side of the truth are you on? What side of the truth are you on? What side of the truth are you on? Right now you looking lukewarm. Incline your ear to hear, cause the sound of the horn is the last of long. What side of the truth are you on? Right now you looking lukewarm. Incline your ear to hear, cause the sound of the horn is the last of long.
Which side of the truth is you on? Yahusha told you he'd rather you be hot or cold, so be bold in the word. He's spitting out lukewarm. Milk sitting out too long, gets curds up in it. Man, to get the worms up in it, don't let it go to waste. James 1:8, a double-minded man's unstable in all his ways. Ephesians 2:8, for by grace are ye saved through faith. Trust Yah Elohim and everything will fall in place. Call and praise his name in a time of need. Paraphrasing Matthew 17:20, all it takes is a grain of mustard seed, amount of belief to move mountains. Ain't no time and no need for you to be doubting. Half-stepping, walking around with no protection. Head in the clouds with death heading your direction and ready to pounce. Proverbs 3:7, be not wise in thine own eyes. Renounce evil, fear Yahuwah Elohim, and be ready to give an account. Culture will not be beyond reproach, you know, amenable, enduring, and preferring sound doctrine over nonsense. Yahusha, the conquering lion of Judah, can't use you with no conscience.
Proverbs 21:16, the man that wanted a way of understanding should remain in the congregation of the dead. The Most High said, if you continue in your wicked ways, he will give you over to a reprobate mind. Yahushua coming back with the sword and to draw the line between the unrighteous and the righteous. He's sifting the wheat from the tares. If only our people knew they were heirs and not being led by false prophets and doctrines of man. We headed for destruction in desolate lands, and Yahuwah my loyalty stands. Which side of the truth you win? Right now you looking lukewarm. Our people need to understand that the Bible is black history. They keep it from us like mysteries. Right now it's time to turn back to the Most High's majesty. Anything outside of that is just insanity. Repent, confess your iniquity. Beware your enemy's trickery. Don't end up another casualty in this spiritual war that we facing.
All right, we back. Go ahead and
hallelujah.
Let's get this going again. Got my drinks ready, get my water. All right. Let's get into it. We are dealing with the Testament of Simeon, which is dealing with envy. So let's go ahead and do it. All right, so the first character on your screen on the right-hand side, we haven't gone through yet. We haven't got to that. Have we got to, no, we have got to that one. I think we have. Maybe. So this is pronounced various ways. Kana, Kina. But this is what you're dealing with. All right. This is it right here. This is envy. All right. Kana. All right. And it denotes jealousy, envy, or really like being zealous over something, watching over something, right? Think of a mother bear watching over her children, right? It's on that type of a level of protective and looking over and watching over your offspring, so to speak, right? Let me get a reader for Proverbs chapter 14 and 30. You can use whatever version you have is fine. Just go ahead and read Proverbs chapter 14 and 30, please.
I can read that for you. It's 14 and 30. Proverbs.
And you know what? 1 second. Let's see. 1 second. All right, go ahead. Go ahead. You're fine.
Okay. A sound heart is life to the body, but envy is rottenness to the bones.
Read that one more time.
A sound heart is life to the body, but envy is rottenness to the bones.
Just meditate and think on that. To have a sound heart, meaning that's the seat of your heart, your mind, like your will, your emotions, your soul, the seat of your thought, right? To have that place being sound, righteous, right? You blessed, you good. But having envy in the seat of your heart is rottenness to your bones. Man, that's deep. Still in Proverbs, and you can continue reading on. Proverbs 23 and 17. Go ahead and read that for me, please.
Okay, hold on. 23 and 17. Okay. And it says, do not let your heart envy sinners, but in the fear of Yahuwah, continue all day long.
That's heavy. Say that one more time, please.
Do not let your heart envy sinners, but in the fear of Yahuwah, continue all day long.
All right, so that's powerful enough right there. I mean, the bottom line is, we're not supposed to be coveting other folks, right? That goes back down to the 10 Commandments.
Correct.
That's foundational. Don't envy your neighbor, or don't envy the evildoer, the wicked, for what they have and what you see them doing. Don't do that. Continue in your own path, your own work that the Most High has blessed you with, without envying the wicked. So that's deep. All right, I got to stop real quick because the Most High is pressing something on me, and I'm thinking, what? I'm trying to process through it. So I got to be obedient. I need to someone that's listening right now needs to hear this. So I don't know who it is, so I'm gonna apply it to everybody. All right. So I'm gonna say a quick prayer again. Okay. Abiyah, I just number one, I thank you for this time that we have to come together in your name. I thank you that we're sitting here, established in your word, going over the scriptures, a time that we're taking to fellowship one to another all across this nation, all across the world. We thank you for the blessing of great health and your watchful eye over us. Right now, Abiyah, I just lift up every last person here on the call today, fellowshipping on the Zoom, as well as those that are listening maybe via Facebook or telephone. I just ask that your will be done in their life. I ask that if there's anything that is paining them or stressing them in their heart, mind, the seat of their heart, I pray that you remove that anxiety from them. I pray that you remove that anxiety from them, and that they're able to walk out the rest of their day, the rest of their life, according to the path you have laid out for them. May their heart be at rest. May they have shalom over their house, over their marriage if they're married, over their children. If they're maybe struggling in health, I pray that you reveal to them what they need to do to be educated on how to eat more effectively, because we do understand that all sickness begins and to develop in the stomach. So I pray that you will give them the wisdom they need to know to determine what type of foods they should be eating and what to abstain from and what to eat for their body type and for their life. I just Again, pray for your hedge of protection upon each and every one here on this call today. Again, I just ask that your ministering angels, your malachim, go forth to fulfill the purpose set path that's laid out before these your children. You know all things, and therefore we submit ourselves to you. I decrease that you may increase in me. And I also ask that these here amongst us today also decrease that you may increase in their life, and that the light of you and your word may shine forth in their life and in the lives, can be a witness to those around them. I pray for healing in the mind. Someone is struggling in their mind, and I just pray that shalom rests upon their mind and the seat of their heart, that they will not be moved or swayed by every wind of doctrine, thought, or idea that comes across their path. May they stay steadfast in you, and may their loins be girt up in truth and righteousness according to your will and your word. Hallelujah, hallelujah, amen. All right, y'all. I appreciate you guys. I just was feeling that pressing, and I just I had to go there. Did we get through Proverbs 23:17 yet? Did we read that?
You want me to read it again?
Yes, please.
Okay. Do not let your heart envy sinners, but in the fear of Yahuwah, continue all day long.
Praise Yah. Let's get into this. All right, we're still in Proverbs. Let me go ahead and get a reader for 27:4, please. You can continue, or again, you can someone else go ahead and get in there.
I can read it. Proverbs 27:4. Wrath is cruel and displeasure overwhelming, but who is able to stand before jealousy?
That's also translated as envy in other translations. Jealousy and envy are very similar, just nuances to the emotion behind that. Read that one more time again, please.
Wrath is cruel and displeasure overwhelming, but who is able to stand before envy?
Who could stand before envy? Man, that's deep. Let's go ahead and get into it. All right, now this is big. Since I have you here, my sister Monica, can you go ahead and read Acts chapter 7, verses 2 through 10? And we're going to spend a little bit of time on this one because it's very powerful to kind of get the understanding. We're not starting at verse 1 because it's kind of a continuation from the previous chapter. So this is a good break point to break into. Acts chapter 7, verse 2 through 10.
Okay. And the festival of the Yahudim was near the festival of Sukkot. So his brothers said to him, "Get away from here and go into Yehuda, so that your Talmudim also see the works that you are doing. For no one acts in secret while he himself seeks to be known openly. If you do these, show yourself to the world." For even his brother did not believe him.
Where are you at right now?
You said Acts chapter 7, 2 through 10. Hold on. 6, 7. You know what? Something's going on with. Hold on one second. Sorry.
No worries. I was like, I don't remember that part.
I'm reading from the Hallelujah Bible, and it seems like there's a misprint. Hold on.
I can jump in.
Need to get you, no, just wait, give her time.
Okay. All right. So Acts chapter 7. Okay. And And he said, brethren, is that the correct one?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And he said, brethren and fathers, listen, the God of glory appeared to the father Abraham when he was in Mesopotamia before he dwelt in Haran, and said to him, get out of your country and from your relatives and come to the land that I will show you. Then he came out of the land of the Chaldeans and dwelt in Haran. And from there, when his father was dead, he moved him to the land in which you now dwell. And Yahuwah gave him no inheritance in it, not even enough to set his foot on. But even when Abraham had no child, he promised to give him for a possession and to his descendants after him. But Yahuwah spoke in this way, that his descendants would dwell in a foreign land, and that they would bring them into bondage and oppress them 400 years. And the nation to whom they will be in bondage, I will judge, said Yahuwah. And after that, they shall come out and serve me in this place. Then he gave him the covenant of circumcision. And so Abraham begot Isaac and circumcised him on the 8th day. And Isaac begot Jacob, and Jacob begot the 12 patriarchs. And the patriarchs, becoming envious, sold Joseph into Egypt. But Yahuwah was with him and delivered him. Okay.
Stop right there. Read verse 9 one more time.
And the patriarchs, becoming envious, sold Joseph into Egypt. But Yahuwah was with him.
All right, so we're going to continue on. Go ahead and read verse 10, and then I'm going to double back. Go ahead and read verse 10.
Okay. And delivered him out of all his troubles, and gave him favor and wisdom in the presence of Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. And he made him governor over Egypt and all his house.
All right, y'all. So I could shout, I could preach, I could dance just off that right there. Like, man, I could cut up for a good 30 minutes off of just that right now. I'm not going to do that, but boy, I could. Listen, somebody needs to hear this. Somebody needs to hear this. It's okay to be called out from amongst your family. I know it's hard. I know it's hard. I know it's hard. I know it. But truly, it's okay. It's a process. Even for Abram, it was a process. Okay. Stay the course. Get connected with your brothers and sisters. Okay. This thing is so deep in regards to how we're supposed to move and operate in this season. You have to stay obedient for even the sake of your family. All right. Your family may not be awakened to this truth. They may be as heathen as they want to be, but you have to do what you've been called to do. So those of you that have been called to separate from your families, you've been called out to literally step out and fully walk out this truth in Torah. You have to be obedient for your own sake and for your own immediate household, but also for your greater house to stand a chance. You have to be that light, that example of integrity and character, okay, before your family. So when they go ahead and try to slip you some pork, you don't be eating that nastiness, okay? They're talking about, girl, you've been eating this all your life. I've heard it. You know how Black families are. Okay, it's house business right now. You know how it is. You was raised on that pork all your life. Ain't nothing wrong with that bacon, right? It's like, no, you stay the course. You do what you need to do, and you do it in love. You don't have to be nasty with your family or be brutal with them. But I want to stress that it's okay. Okay. And then going back to, again, verse 9, the patriarchs. I mean, you get this beautiful, elaborate breakdown of Abram being called out, Abram giving birth to Isaac, Yaakov, the 12 patriarchs. And then we're out of this, out what? Envious. Being envious, they went ahead and they sold their brother. They sold their own flesh and blood. All of them sold their own flesh and blood, tripping out of what? Envy, jealousy of the littlest brother, this little dude. He's a little dude.
In the Most High.
And to go ahead and do that, to throw him, to want to either kill him first. Some of them wanted to kill him. You wanted to kill your little brother? Yet the Most High Elohim was with him. Just hallelujah. Hallelujah. Some stuff right there. We're going to keep going. We're going to get into this. I tell you. Let me get somebody to read Acts chapter 13 and 45, please. Let me get a reader for Acts chapter 13 and 45, please.
I can do that for you.
Go ahead.
Acts chapter 13, verse 45. 1 second. Out of the King James Version. Excuse me. But when the Yahudim saw the multitudes, they were filled with envy and spake against those which were spoken by Paul, contradicting and blaspheming.
Read that one more time.
Okay. But when the Yahudim saw the multitudes, they were filled with envy and spake against those things which were spoken by Paul, contradicting and blaspheming.
Listen, you got some people in this awakening. It's crazy when you really think about this. You got black folks, church leaders that are literally doing this thing. They are envious. They see the awakening. They see a new crop of leaders, spiritual leaders coming on the scene, and they like, who are these folks? They like, who are these folks? They didn't go to no seminary school. They didn't get a doctorate in divinity at these premier Catholic universities. Who are these people? And they see the gathering. They see the awakening. They see the gathering and they see the awakening, and they're like, I don't understand. I don't understand. And they are filled with envy up to the point of even committing sin in light of what they're seeing. They literally becoming modern day Pharisees. My brother, if you can't read that one more time, Acts 13 and 45, please.
All right, my brother, give me a second here. But when the Yahudim saw the multitudes, they were filled with envy and spake against those which were spoke. I'm sorry, let me start again. But when the Yahudim saw the multitudes, they were filled with envy and spake against those things which were spoken by Paul, contradicting and blaspheming.
Ridiculous. All right, y'all. One last thing. Move this out the way. Why is it doing that? All right. My sister Michelle, if you are available, can you read Romans chapter 1, please? And just read it as it is. Just read it as it is.
Okay. Let me get my glasses real quick. I'm sorry.
No worries. We're going to do Romans chapter 1 because it's in there. We're going to break this down, and then we're going to get into the Testament. It's a pretty short Testament, so we won't be on till like midnight like last time. I felt bad. It was a good lesson. It was a good lesson, but I'm not, I say we can't do that no more.
No, hey, it was good. It was very good. It was very good.
It was edifying, man.
Very much.
Right on time.
We put in some work on that lesson, though, for real, though.
At Romans chapter 1, I have
Yes. and just read it as it is, and then I may stop you from time to time. So kind of be ready for the pauses, but just go right ahead.
Okay, all the way down, just starting at 1?
Starting at 1.
Okay.
And just
Sure.
get your situation set up so you can read it. We could all hear.
Okay, Paul, a servant of Yeshua HaMashiach, called to be an apostle, separated unto gospel of Yahuwah, which he had promised afore by his prophets in the Holy Scriptures, concerning his son, Yeshua HaMashiach, our...
Just read it as it is. Just read it as it is.
Our Lord, which was made of the seed of David according to the flesh, and declared to be the Son of God with power, according to the Spirit of holiness, by the resurrection from the dead, by whom we have received grace and apostleship for obedience to the faith among all nations, for his name, among whom are ye also to be called of Yeshua HaMashiach. To all that be in Rome, beloved of God, called to be saints, grace to you and peace from God our Father and the Lord Yeshua HaMashiach. First, I thank my God through Yeshua HaMashiach for you all, that your faith is spoken of throughout the whole world. God is my witness, whom I serve with my spirit in the gospel to his Son, that without ceasing I make mention of you always in my prayers, making request, if by any means, now at length, I might have a prosperous journey by the will of God to come unto you. For I long to see you, that I may impart unto you some spiritual gift, that the end ye may be established. That is, that I may be comforted together with you by the mutual faith, both of you and me. Now I would not have you ignorant, brethren, that oftentimes I purposed to come unto you, but was let hitherto, that
it's hitherto, but it's basically hereto, but hitherto.
Okay, hitherto, that I might have some fruit among you also, even as among other Gentiles. I debtor both to the Greeks and to the barbarians, both to the wise and to the unwise. So as much as in me is, I am ready to preach the gospel to you that are at Rome also.
Stop right there. So this is again a greeting, a breakdown from our brother and our elder Shaul or Paul. Okay, Paulo in Roman. All right. He's greeting the brothers and you know, talking about how their faith is known around the earth. That's what I'm talking about. I want it to be known that my brothers and sisters in Portland, my brothers and sisters in Arizona and in Washington State and all over are actually, you know, your faith and your works and everything that you're doing is known around the earth. That's what I'm talking about. That part, verse 14, I am a debtor both to the Greeks and to the barbarians, both to the wise and to the unwise. Literally, it's talking about breaking that down. That hyphen is basically breaking it down that both the wise and the unwise in relation to the Greeks and the barbarians. Those that are learned and unlearned, those that are this level, that level. Like, bottom line, I'm coming to all my brothers and sisters. I'm coming to all the Hebrew Israelites, regardless of their state in life. I'm a debtor to you to come and preach this basar, preach this gospel to you. All right. And so now we're about to get into breaking this down, the meat of this thing, which is good for us to hear. There's a key passage I want to address, but the whole thing got meat to it. We got to kind of dig into it. So go ahead, my dear sister, verse 16. He is again addressing, I'm ready to preach the gospel to you that are there in Rome also. Northern Kingdom, coming to get y'all. Go ahead, verse 16, to continue on.
For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Yeshua, or HaMashiach, I'm sorry. For it is the
Messiah
unto salvation to everyone that believeth, to the Jew first, and also to the Greek.
Stop right there. I got to break this out. Talking truly, don't get it twisted. To the Yahudim and the Hellenized or the Hellenes also. Hellenes being these are Northern Kingdom Yahudim, or I should say Northern Kingdom Israelites, and also Yahudim that have been Hellenized. They've forsaken the path or the way of their ancestors, and like literally from the time of the fall of the establishment and then the fall of the Maccabean era or period, they become Gentiles. You're Israelites by blood, but you out there. You've taken on the practices of the Gentiles. And so this is specifically what he's addressing here at this point in time. All right. So I wanted to make sure I highlighted that in verse 16, that's what's happening. All right. Verse 17, go ahead.
For therein is the righteousness of God revealed from faith to faith, as it is written, the just shall live by faith. For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men who hold the truth in unrighteousness. Because that which be known of God is manifest in them, for God hath shewed it upon them. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse.
Right.
Because that when they knew God, they glorified him not as God, neither were thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish heart was darkened. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools, and changed the glory of the uncorruptible God into an image made like to corruptible man, and to birds and four-footed beasts and creeping things. Wherefore God also gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts, honor their own bodies between themselves, who changed the truth of God into a lie, and worship and serve the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. For the cause of God gave them up unto vile affections, for even their women did change their natural use into that which is against nature. And likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the women, burned in their lust one toward another, men with men, working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves the recompense of their error, which was meat.
All right, stop right there. Woo! Woo! This scripture be hitting hard. Listen.
Wow.
Y'all, just take a break because it's hitting hard. This script right here, we not even done yet. We almost done, but we ain't done yet. Man, you got a pause break on that one. These folks, verse 24, wherefore God or Elohim also gave them up. Listen.
Lifted his hand.
In your sin, the Most High just said, I'm out. I'm out. I'm going to turn you over to yourself, to the uncleanness through the lust of their own heart, the seat of their heart, their mind, their will, their emotions, their thinking up in here. It's unclean. Gave them up, said, you know what? Go do you. In which they began to dishonor their own bodies between themselves. We can go so deep in this, y'all. I mean, really, you got to understand that. Key words here to focus in on is, again, the seat of their heart, the imagination of the mind, that because they did not take every thought captive, they were led into a dark place. And they kept going to that dark place. That's why you can't play with sin. You play with sin, you keep playing with these demons. You keep hanging around these folks, them boys, and you wonder why your life is looking like it's looking, and you're experiencing what you're experiencing because you're meditating on the wrong things. In your darkest hour, you're sitting in there and you're being pulled and tugged into dark places and begin to have imaginations, wicked imaginations. And then you actually seek to gratify the lust of the flesh and the seat of your heart, the lust. Man, let's read that again. Go ahead, my sister. You're doing a great job. Start from verse 22. Okay. Start from verse 22. I promise I'm not going to stop you.
That's all right.
Start from verse 22 all the way down to the end.
Okay. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools and changed the glory of the uncorruptible God into an image made like the corruptible man, and to birds, and to four-footed beasts, and creeping things. Wherefore God also gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves, who changed the truth of God into a lie, and serve the creature more than the creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. For this cause, God gave them up unto vile affection. For even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature. And likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the women, burned in their lust one toward another, men with men, working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves that recompense of their error which was meet. And even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind, to do those things which are not convenient, being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, maliciousness, foolishness, murder, debate, deceit, malignity, whispers, backbiters, haters of God, despiteful, boasters, inventors of evil things, disobedient to parents, without understanding, covenant breakers, without natural affection, implacable, unmerciful, who knowing the judgment of God, that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only to the same, but have pleasure in them that do them. Keep going.
That's it. That's it. Listen.
Wow.
That hit so hard.
Wow.
That hit so hard. That hit so hard. Y'all. Y'all understand? Do y'all feel the brother? Paul was throwing them blows in that word. Man, could you imagine having him as a moray? You think I'm bad?
Wow.
He would not hold anything back.
Man, yo. Hey.
We need him spreading this word today, because we aren't getting it. We aren't getting it.
Yeah. I mean, 29 all the way through 32. Listen, those that commit such things are worthy of death. Y'all tripping. Hello? We playing with these scripts right here, man. We playing with these scripts. Like, come on. Being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy. Murder is in your heart. All this doggone strife and debate. You deceptive as hell. You're malignant. You malignant.
Yeah.
Destructive. You a whisperer. You a backbiter. You a hater of the Most High Elohim. Yo, this is deep. This is deep. Listen. Proud. Boasters. Inventor of evil things, evil works. You go out your way to create new ways to be evil as hell. I can't. Covenant breakers. You break your word. Your word don't mean nothing. 2 cents. You a covenant breaker. I can't. I think one of the most painful things is to recognize one of the last few parts here is, wow, y'all, come on, y'all got it. Without natural affection. That's hard, y'all. Do you understand the weight of that? These type of people that delve into from the seat of their heart, they go into wickedness. They just let it fester. And what does it talk about? It's rottenness to your bones, that envy, that covetousness, all that is rottenness to your bones. It's nasty to think that you become without natural affection. It's natural to be affectionate. You don't even got natural affection for nobody. What's one of the last things it says in regards to that? Unmerciful. Unmerciful. You ain't got no mercy. You ain't got no compassion. Our people need help, y'all.
We do.
All right, I'm gonna stop because I'm going off. I'm gonna open it up. We're pretty much done. Well, what are your guys' thoughts about what we just went over in Romans chapter 1? What are your thoughts?
What really resonates with me, and it really hits home, is that in 32, that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them. Doomed for hell, and nobody is saying anything. This is the part we're being silent about, and people are just living their day-to-day lives, going on and going to hell in a handbasket. Not even in a handbasket, but on a shuttle, okay? On a spaceship. Zoom, gone. Okay, gone.
Right, right.
Preachers get up, and I share every week how mad I am because of all these years of deception, but you sit up there on the pulpit and you're not telling people this. You're giving them that honky-dory feel-good story every week, and they go out and commit the same sin, not even knowing that they're committing sin. They don't even know to pick up the word, because when you get on the pulpit, you're not in the word. You take one little verse and you make a show out of it for 2 hours.
You're right.
Designate the word and the relationship with the word. It's in the word. So that when the church is gone, you don't need the building, because this is it. But people aren't getting that. And we're committing these same sins on a daily basis, and people are comfortable with it. Because it's become a way of life.
Yep.
It's not going to get you at the kingdom. That's not going to get you in the kingdom. It's not going to get you in the door. It's not going to get us in the door, and we need to recognize what sin is. Sin starts up here. Before you even commit the act, it's already up here, and we need to learn. Let this resonate in here and in our ruach, so they don't even get up to here. I'm sorry.
No, you
You were
good.
good.
Ah,
You were
yeah, we
good.
need to hear that.
We good. We
Preach on,
gotta
my
get up
sister.
in
Preach
there.
on.
Listen, you got a word on this, jump right in there, because again, our people need to hear this. Like whoever's watching online, we'll watch online in the future. Like we gotta talk to our folks. This is why we have to have these conversations and stuff like that. We gotta deal with this stuff. So anybody else jump right in, go on ahead.
You know, my thing is that, you know, Christianity, as Maury Josh was talking earlier, Christianity is really the land of Canaan, where, you know, they knew El, but they're doing everything perverted. And that's what Christianity has taught us. And as we come out with this awakening, and as we're diving into his word, truly diving into his word, we need to honestly grab hold of that and do what he says and get out of our own feelings that, well, this should be okay. No, it's not okay. You have sinned. You have blatantly sinned, and you don't care. You know, like I said, you know, it starts in the mind. And if I dwell on it, then I'm going to want to do it more, instead of taking my thoughts and holding them captive and making myself repent and turn and flee from it. I'm a dwell. Oh yeah, I should do that. I should have, you know, be unmerciful. I should be unforgiving. No, we have to get back in his word.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, I want to add too that like a lot of these things that people take into their mind, like being unmerciful, unforgiving, and cutthroat and all that, that's all like was pushed out as how you supposed to succeed, you know.
Yep.
Supposed to hold people down, supposed to like, you know, I mean, look at businesses. You want to grab market share from other companies. Like you can't be content on what you have. You want to try to take something from, it's always trying to take something from somebody else, you know.
Sociopathic.
Yeah, exactly. So just seeing that, how it starts in your heart, it starts in your mind, and then you go just take it to the next level.
Yeah,
Man, it hit hard. Go ahead, Doc.
What stood out to me is he used a word in this dissertation here that is normally reserved for a cancer. And he's talking about the people of God. You know what I mean? That ought to be a crying shame right there. And one thing about malignancy, I have a little bit of experience. I'm no doctor, but I have a little experience in malignancy, and things that are malignant usually spread. You know what I mean? That's the other thing that people don't think about. People think about the pleasure of a thing or the effect that it's going to have on them, but malignancy spread. That's why the Most High is so harsh on the different things that he sees. And that's why there's certain times when he said, kill it, kill them. Okay, this is not about to infect everybody. So that's how I see it. And that's what I'm feeling like these days. I can't wait for the fire because...
Hallelujah. I can't wait. Roast these fools down.
Gives a whole
That's
new
my
meaning
words,
to
so
that.
not yours. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying?
Y'all burnt.
That's
what it make me think.
No, like
Y'all burnt.
honestly, you know, we look at the situation, we're like, okay, we didn't go through 400 years of oppression and enslavement and atrocities for all this. That's why we ain't getting taken out by no coronavirus and all these folks like that. No, we coming up out of this thing. You're gonna give us our check. You're gonna give us everything. we taking everything.
See, we coming for our check.
We taking everything. We taking that all.
That's what the word says. It's in scripture. Straight up.
Absolutely.
Straight up for real. Anybody else on this topic? I mean, Romans chapter 1, it hits hard, but go ahead, jump right in, and then we're going to move forward to the testament of Simeon. Anybody else got anything they want to say about what we just read?
Man, I just want to say, man, just repent. We got to be repenting daily. You know what I'm saying? This judgment is coming. It's here. You know what I mean? And you just got to get it right. I mean, I'm not going to beat it down, but you got to be repentant.
No, beat it down. Listen, it need to get beat down. It need to get beat all the way down. These Negroes over here need to wake up to their Hebrew Israelite identity. They need to get beat down. Y'all got to wake up.
What did it say? Is death? Death is the penalty?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, it's time to get it right, man. We just came out of the 400 years. It's time for us to get this thing right, you know, and that's real. If it's in your heart, you know, get it out your heart. Right now is the time.
Bro,
Yes,
without natural affection.
I was just about to talk
about Go ahead, y'all.
Well, to me, it's like the same thing that was going on then is going on now. Because they're teaching our kids, you turn on TV and watch, they're teaching our kids or anybody that's watching the same kind of things that it's speaking of. You know, it's teaching everybody to be, you know, envious of others, you know, to be covenant breakers. I mean, breaking your word is, you know, I mean, they do that and don't even think twice about it, you know. I mean, you think about the history of this country and all the treaties and stuff they did with the Native Americans and how they just broke them left and right and didn't feel bad about it. Just said, hey, you know, that was then, this is now. You know, it's a totally different thing. I mean, they're backbiters, despiteful, proud, boasters. I mean, all of that is what our kids and what we're being taught. You know, and so what we need to do, as my brother just said, is to recognize what's going on and then repent. We need to repent. That's why the Most High says, come out from among these people, that you be not partakers of that which is coming on them. You know, so we need to just like reach out to our people and get them to see that, hey, there ain't nothing different between now and then. And the Most High is going to judge us today like he judged them back then. So, you know, all praise to the Most High.
Praise y'all. Anybody else?
What stuck out to, I'm sorry, you can go ahead.
Oh yeah, so you know, and it's not in our nature as God's people, you know, like the other worlds, like the other nations. It's not in our nature
That's
to be
right.
cruel like that.
And we have to be taught that stuff.
Yeah, and we adopt those, you know, because we go into it. But in our hearts, in our nature, the way we are, no, it's not. It's foreign to us. We're not part of this. God has implanted something different in us than the rest of the world. Yeah, I mean.
No, you good, man. Man, I'm just taking it, like, honestly, hold on 1 second. I'm just taking it all in. Yeah, just don't get hung up on the words. It's a process. God, Yah, you know, Elohim, we'll get there. Go ahead, my sister Monica, go ahead.
What stuck out to me was verse 25 when it says, who exchanged the truth of Yah for the lie and worship and serve the creature rather than the creator who is blessed for it. I mean, that is what's going on right here, right now in the churches. And when you try and reach out to people, I mean, it just pains me sometimes, especially when you're trying to share with people. I mean, they would rather deal with that lie and they don't want to hear the truth. It's like close their ears to hearing the truth. And you know, it's worshiping, you know, all of the doctrine and all of, you know, these made up things that the church has created. They would rather, you know, commit themselves to this idea of what the church has created rather than to sit down, open the word and read it for themselves.
Facts.
Yeah, that's a straight violation of the first two commandments, ain't it? And they don't even realize that.
Yeah.
But again, they're not worried about no commandments. Unless you're a pastor talking about your tithe money, your tithes and offerings. Keep it 1,000. That's the only commandment they know. They know them tithes, offerings, and first fruits. They got all the offerings.
But even that
wrong.
wrong.
I got all the offerings.
But even that wrong because the temple ain't there.
Man, I'm telling you. I'll tell you. What I'll tell you is this, and this goes also for those of you on that side note. I appreciate everyone that gives into my ministry and the work that I'm going and I'm doing for our community, for our nation. I greatly appreciate that. So I want to put that out there. That being said, do not send me anything as a form of a tithe. You can send me whatever offering you want to help me support the vision I have that the Most High has given me for our people. Okay. So I don't care if you send me $5 or $500. I don't care about the dollar figure. But don't tithe into me like that. I'm not going to deviate too much off that, but natural tithing, biblical tithing, Torah-based tithing literally is a form of community welfare, but it's deeper than that. I'm simplifying it down, extremely simplifying it, okay? But you have it on a certain periodic occasion, annually and other appointed times, where you would take 1/10 of your stuff, your grain, your animals, your resources, and you would go ahead and literally take care of the orphans, the widow, obviously those in your own household, the Levites, and being in the land of Israel, the sojourners that will be living amongst that don't have as much as if they was in their own country doing their own thing, right? You basically have a block party. You have a barbecue. You bring everybody in and you feed everybody, and you literally, it tells you to eat, drink, and be merry. That's what tithing actually is. Biblical Torah-based tithing. So not trying to go off on that, but I just wanted to clarify. For me, I greatly appreciate those that give financially into my ministry to help me support and do the vision that the Most High has given me to do. But please don't send me nothing as a tithe. Don't do that. But like I said, you can send me whatever you want, $5, $5,000. That's just a general offering. I'm with you. I support that. But please don't send me any tithe. All right.
You know, that's the way the kingdom's gonna be. It's a different way the world is, you know, and that's the way we're gonna run the world with y'all. And I just saw this picture of an old relief of the early Africans that came over to the American continent, right? And it shows 3 ethnic groups in there, and it shows the people that were over here and the Africans fighting against the Europeans that were invading the country, this land over here. It was just amazing. This is pre-Columbus.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot that's pre-Columbus.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so it just shows that our people come over here. We don't come to conquer. We come to join in and share and grow together with people instead of actually conquering them.
Yeah. Hey, Tina got me cracking and talking about, I got an extra goat. I got you, Moray. That's funny. Hey, I appreciate that, Tina. Hey, all right, let's move on. I'm gonna go ahead and transition. Give me one moment. Go ahead and get your script ready for the Testament of Simeon. One moment here. All right. We are good. And if I can get, again, someone to drop the link to the PDF in the chat, I would greatly appreciate that. I'll give about 1 minute for that to happen, and then we'll get started with the reading. All right, let's get into it. Thank you very much. I see that in the chat. Praise Yah, praise Yah. All right. Again, let me just, I feel like to pray again very, very briefly here. Abba Yah, I just thank you for this time that we have had to come together. And I thank you right now that the word that's about to go forth will rest on good ground, ears to be able to hear, receive, and hearts to receive and process through the lessons that we can take and learn from our ancestors' testimony. I just thank you for being done now in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach. Amen, amen, and hallelujah. All right, so let's get into this. And I pray you guys can hear me okay. All right, the copy of the words of Simeon, the things which he spake to his sons before he died, in the 120th year of his life, at which time Joseph, his brother, died. For when Simeon was sick, his sons came to visit him, and he strengthened himself and sat up and kissed them and said, Hearken, my children, to Simeon your father, and I will declare unto you what things I have in my heart. I was born of Jacob as my father's second son, and my mother Leah called me Simeon, because Yah had heard her prayer. Moreover, I became strong exceedingly. I shrank from no achievement, nor was I afraid of aught, for my heart was hard, and my liver was immovable, and my bowels without compassion. Because valor also has been given from the Most High to men in soul and body. For in the time of my youth I was very jealous and zealous in many things. Of Joseph, because my father loved him beyond all, and I set my mind against him to destroy him, because of the prince of deceit sent forth the spirit of jealousy and envy and blinded my mind, so that I regarded him not as a brother, nor did I spare even Jacob my father. But his Elohim and the Elohim of his father sent forth his angel and delivered him out of my hands. For when I went to Shechem to bring ointment for the flocks, and Reuben to Dothan, wherewith our necessities, wherewith our necessaries are all stores, Judah my brother sold him to the Ishmaelites. And when Reuben heard these things, he was grieved, for he wished to restore him to his father. But on hearing this, I was exceedingly wroth against Judah, in that he let him go away alive. And for 5 months I continued wrathful against him. But Yah restrained me and withheld from me the power of my hands, for my right hand was half withered for 7 days. And I knew, my children, that because of Joseph this had befallen me, and I repented and wept, and I besought Yahuwah Elohim that my hand might be restored, and that I might hold aloof from all the pollution, envy, and from all folly. For I knew that I had devised an evil thing before Yah and Jacob, my father, on account of Joseph, my brother, and that I envied him. All right, I'm going to stop right there. That was 1 through 2. What are your thoughts in regards to what we just read? And I apologize, just kind of going through this manuscript is a little bit different. What are your thoughts?
Well, it's amazing to me that, when you read the scriptures and you see that the Most High chooses certain people, and you don't get the picture and the understanding as to why he chose these people. Because you would think that if Reuben was passed over, then Simeon would be the next in line. But now you read the testament of the patriarchs, and you can see that Simeon could not be next in line because he has such hatred in his heart for his brother. But when you read just, the King James Bible, you don't get any of this background. So a lot of these things seem to be mysterious and just kind of, random as to what, Yah does. But now that you get, these additional books, you can now understand why he did exactly what he did and why he chose the people that he chose. So that's just what stuck out to me.
Absolutely. Anybody else? Jump right in.
The thing I noticed is what in 2, where he said he did not regard Joseph as a brother, and he didn't even think about his father Jacob, how he would probably feel. He just totally disregarded all of that because he was so envious of Joseph. He allowed that envy, like I said, it just rotten. It makes you have a rotten soul. And he was so tied up in that envy of Joseph that he didn't even sit back and think, well, this is my brother, and how would how's my father feel that if something happened to him, take into account how my father's feelings, and he didn't even do that.
Absolutely. Monica, go ahead.
I thought it was really interesting how the emotions manifest physically, and how because of the hatred and the envy inside of him, and because with his hands he was going to try and kill his brother, and then harm his other brother for selling him, his hand withered. And so I think that's so interesting, and to me, if you relate that to today, that where we live in. Just think about, you know, the ailments that some of us maybe even go through. And is that a manifestation of something that we're holding within ourselves?
Tell it.
Right.
Yeah.
Tell it again. Tell it for the brothers and the sisters in the back.
Hallelujah.
In the back corner cut. Need to hear that.
Right.
Yeah, you over there tripping, you scratching and itching, don't know what the hell's going on.
Right.
And you got some issues in your heart, your soul. You wondering what's going on. You can't think straight. Your liver's quivering. Your muscles is jerking. You got to deal with yourself. We're getting these scripts.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sis. That's what I'm talking about.
I think it's
you might be dealing with some issues. Go ahead.
As hard and painful as it was for him, that he recognized and realized that he was going through these issues with the withering of his hands as a direct result of what was on the inside of him. And it's similar to, you know, and if we get into our Ruach, if we tune into our Ruach, we'll receive these convictions, something similar to what I was sharing last night about an interaction that I had with someone. And even though I didn't realize or even know what exactly I had done wrong, but my Ruach was at unrest about it, you know, and I still didn't even realize, but because of that, and because of that, you know, that it made me want to make it right, you know, and to try to fix whatever I may have done or said to someone else, even though I don't know what it was. But in my spirit, though, that unrest that was created, and once that was done, then my spirit had peace. You know, I had peace with the Most High. You know, and he's still working on me. Like, what do I need to be doing better? But I feel that if we tune into that, when we have any type of interaction, whatever comes about, you know, I think it's, you know, I just think it's just pleasing to the Most High, first of all, to have that relationship with him so that he can help us work on ourselves. And
I'm with you on that.
Hallelujah.
Amen.
I think it's interesting too how when we read the verses back in Proverbs where it was talking about envy is rotten to the bones. And there's another passage, I think it's Proverbs 3, where it says that the word is like moistening to the bones. Like if we take that in, and then you can also see the very the image that he creates too, where he says like he shrank from no achievement, nor was I afraid of aught, for my heart was hard and my liver was immovable and my bowels without compassion. And it's like all of that internal, you know, just envy, like stopped him up, you know. It's almost like he was like constipated from being so like angry and jealous, you know, at his brother. You know? So yeah.
It's true though.
That's why you're walking funny.
Yeah.
It's okay to laugh, y'all. It's okay to laugh. Man, go ahead, y'all.
Way to say it, but
that's right, man. And that Proverbs is, your word is life to my flesh and health to my bones. That's a good one, man. Two things stood out to me here. One of them, I'll say first. Now, Judah was not innocent. Let me say that disclaimer first. Judah was not innocent, but look at the move he made in this. By him making the move he made, he said, let's sell him. So in a way, he preserved his life. When the intent, that was not part of the intent. So I wanted to point that out. And then also, if this is how we was getting down as a people, it explains a lot about why we go through the things we are going through now. You know what I mean? Because I know the Most High is merciful and gracious, and the things that we go through are usually our own doing and our own undoing. You know what I mean? So for us to sell a brother into slavery, okay, all of y'all, and then look at how everybody, including the woman that tried to seduce him, talks about Yasaf. This man was a good, godly man with a heart of purity. You know what I mean?
Amen.
A pure-hearted man, and he was the youngest. So to do this to him, that's like attacking the handicap or something. You know what I mean? Like, wow. So it's no wonder that we all had the taste, because these actions right here are completely
Right.
Hey, this is all hard sayings. Like when you look, these brothers wasn't righteous.
Right.
When you look at some of the stuff that they did, you like, where'd these folks come from? Abraham was on point. Isaac was even on point. Jacob was kind of tripping, but even he got on point. And then it just seemed like, wait, what happened? How'd this happen again? Wait a minute, you sold your brother into slavery? To Ishmael's kids?
Right.
To your cousins? You sold little homie to the cousins?
Do you think, Moray, that it had a lot to possibly also do with not only but the battle between Leah and Rachel? Rebecca, Rebecca, that constant going back and forth.
Partial. Okay. Partial, yes. It is a manifestation of that rivalry is there, because you have Jacob loves his wife, the one he really originally wanted.
Right.
Okay. And it's like Leah was kind of like slipped in on, and the thing about it, people don't recognize this, is that Leah and Rachel were they were twins.
Oh wow!
So there's some minor differences to them, but they were twins. So it wasn't like, Rachel looked this way and then like Leah was like, looked like her name was Bertha or something like that. That wasn't what it was. You know what I'm saying? Like they were twins. So he's like, wait, what happened? Okay. Yeah, Laban, we have to talk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What you do? You know what I mean? And he wasn't even able to marry his wife that he really wanted until he had agreed to serve more time.
Right.
Then he was able, he didn't have to wait all them years to marry. He married her right away, but he still had to serve that time. There's like a marriage week that you have to do Hebraically. It's a different story. But yeah, like absolutely, there's some rivalry between the children of Leah and the children of Rachel. So that definitely played into it. And the fact that you have now Jacob, it's a very much a similar situation. Like really, this thing could have went rogue. Boy, I'll tell you, this thing could have went real rogue, y'all. Let me explain something to you real quick. This thing could have got real rogue, very similar to how Ishmael and Isaac's situation was. Ishmael is Isaac's brother. The Ishmaelites are our cousins. They are folks too. Okay. Yes, they black. They Negro in Africa chilling right now doing the most. All right. So you got Isaac as the chosen, anointed, the one, the seed of the promise, right? Ishmael still his brother. You got a situation here where you can look at, in essence, that Joseph was the son of the promise through Jacob. Even though he had all them other kids, the love of his life, the firstborn child of the love of his life, the one we read about in Genesis, right? And all the backstory, okay? And everything that was done, like, come on now. It could have been a situation where it wasn't no 12 tribes of Israel. It just could have been Ephraim's kids. The wickedness, Ishmael didn't even do all that. Ishmael didn't do nothing to Isaac. Outside just being born from a different mama, and he wasn't called for as the chosen one. They did that out of their own flesh. Ishmael didn't do nothing to Isaac at all. We as Israelites doing the most to ourselves. Crazy. So you got the 12 tribes of Israel. Let's say we ain't talking about Benjamin because he ain't born yet in this situation, right? in the back of that story. All right, and you can't count Joseph himself. So you got all the rest of them brothers. Basically, you got Leah's kids, and then you got the concubine's kids. Y'all all gained up on little dude. All y'all gained up on little dude. Some of you go back. Dan wanted to kill him. Gad wanted to get with him. Now you got Simeon wanted to kill him. Reuben wanted to restore him, but he's slacking. He wasn't the leader. He wasn't proactive. Simeon's like, I'm about to kill this fool. So Judah was the one that's like, let me pull you up out this pit and I'm going to sell you to the Ishmaelites. All right, y'all. Anybody else? All right, I'm going to get into it. 3. And now, my children, hearken unto me and beware of the spirit of deceit and envy. For envy ruleth over the whole mind of a man, and suffereth him neither to eat nor to drink, nor to do any good thing. But it ever suggesteth to him to destroy him that he envieth. And so long as he that is envied flourish, he that envieth fadeth away. 2 years, therefore, I afflicted my soul with fasting in the fear of Yah, and I learnt that deliverance from envy cometh by the fear of Yah or Elohim. For if a man flee to Yah, the evil spirit runneth away from him, and his mind is lightened. And henceforward he sympathizes with him whom he envied, and forgiveth those who are hostile to him, and cease from his envy. I'm going to stop right there. What are your thoughts?
Man, this thing is real, man. So the Most High is definitely going to have to bring back fear of him. That's what we lack. A lot of us lack.
Tell it again.
We lack the fear, or we don't have the fear of Yahuwah anymore. So the Most High is going to bring that back. He's going to kill some people, and that's going to get people to wake up. I'm just going to be real. Some people ain't going to make it. I'm just going to be real. So this thing is serious. Like, he has to bring that fear back to Israel. He has to. He gonna make that example. Please believe it. That's it.
Facts. Anybody else jump on in?
I like what 5 says. It says, anyone that flees to the Most High for refuge, these evil spirits will quickly depart from him, and his mind will be at ease. And I just want to be a testament. I can testify to that one. That's the only way. We have to run to him to be our refuge.
Hallelujah. I was looking at that same one that you mentioned, and referencing back to the first one, how he burned in anger against them. That's the same thing we were reading about in Proverbs, where you just kind of giving over to whatever it is that your flesh, it won't let go of. You are reproachable. You got that reprobate mind. You can't be turned over to see it another way, to change from your ways. And that's just what the Akeliyah was saying, man. Fear of Yahuwah. If you can't turn from that and be corrected, you can't stand to pass under the rod. Ain't no hope. We hopeless without him.
Man, and the further give credence and testimony, no pun intended, but it's in there, to the testament of the 12 patriarchs. I don't know if you feel a certain theme going on throughout these different ones we've been reading over time, but I'm just going to confirm to you, yes, indeed, the apostles, the disciples knew of the 12 patriarchs. And yes, if you're feeling the warm and fuzzy inside, it's because, yes, Shaul did pull from the testament of the 12 patriarchs in his writings. There's various themes and things that you're reading in the testament of the 12 patriarchs. Some cases pulled verbatim in quotation in the New Testament. But because, again, church folks ain't trying to really correlate back to these Hebraic writings like that, you never know what you're reading. So you got folks sitting talking about Paul was this and he was a heretic and he was that, this and chicken little soup. And Paul was straight quoting script for real, and you didn't even know it. So a lot of this is actually, when you look at the New Testament, Romans, Corinthians, he's actually straight up pulling from these scriptures. Anybody else before we move on to 4? Anybody else want to jump on the last section?
Well, I too just really love 3:5. About how we can take refuge in the Lord, and I think that just resonates with any spirit, with any attacks that we have, anything that's going on. And if you ask me, that's the cure right there for coronavirus.
There we go. I like that. All right, let's get into section 4. And my father asked concerning me, because he saw that I was sad, and I said unto him, I am pained in my liver, for I am more and more than they all, because I was guilty of selling Joseph. And when we went down into Egypt and he bound me as a spy, I knew that I was suffering justly, and I grieved not. Now, Joseph was a good man, and he had the spirit of Elohim within him. And being compassionate and pitiful, he bore no malice against me, but loved me even as the rest of his brethren. Beware, therefore, my children, of all jealousy and envy, and walk in singleness of heart, soul, and with good heart, keeping in mind Joseph, your father's brother, that Elohim may give you also grace and glory and blessing upon your heads, even as you saw in Joseph's case. All his days he reproached us not concerning this thing, but loved us as his own soul, and beyond his own sons glorified us, and gave us riches and cattle and fruits. Do ye also, my children, love each one his brother, and with a good heart, and the spirit of envy will withdraw from you. For this maketh savage the soul, and destroyeth the body. It causeth anger and war in the mind, and stirreth up the deeds of blood, and leadeth the mind into frenzy, and cause tumult to the soul, and trembling to the body. For even in sleep some malicious jealousy, deluding him gnaweth, and with wicked spirits disturbeth his soul, and causeth the body to be troubled, and waketh the mind from sleep and confusion. And as a wicked and poisonous spirit, so appeareth it to men. All right, what do you guys thoughts? That was 4.
Like it kind of testifies to the fact that the kind words turns away wrath. So Joseph basically treated all his brothers like that with kindness, so that, and it basically stopped all that dead in the tracks. Like it could have been beef and it could have escalated like crazy, but he was like, nah, we gonna stop this right here, treat y'all fine, and we gonna be good.
Facts. Anybody else? Jump on in. There's some good stuff in there. You got to be careful how you read it, but man, some good stuff in there to get the fullness of what was said. Anybody got anything else? Jump right in.
I just like the fact that you have it gives you instruction for how to approach something like this. If you have something like this, how to flee to Yahuwah for refuge, and the evil spirits will depart quickly for you. And then going into, each of you love your brothers with a good heart, and then the spirit of envy will depart from you. And he's talking about like what that attitude does. So I appreciate like the practical application that they have in here for us, regarding these things that they deal with, that they can kind of comb through what it was, what kind of spirit it was, what that produces, and then what to do about it.
Facts. I got one. I got to get out, and that's between 4:2 and 4:3. It talks about, for I mourn more than they all, because I was guilty of the selling of Joseph. So check this out again. And when we went down into Egypt, and he, being Joseph, is the he in this section, and he, being Joseph, bound me as a spy, I knew that I was suffering justly, and I grieved not. Man, like he knew because of the dirt I did, this king, the king of the entire earth, bounding me up in prison as a spy. I'm not even going to grieve. This is what I get because of what I did to my little brother. At that point in time, he even knew at that point in time that I am going through this affliction because of what I did to my brother. Because for every action, there's going to be an equal or positive reaction. And he knew I'm going through it right now. I know for sure that I'm paying for the sins of the crimes I committed against my little brother. All right, y'all. Anybody else? Jump right in.
I think it's a
Go on.
No, I just was gonna say real quick. I think it's a blessing for us as a people to even make that kind of a connection, to be humbled in that manner. This was years later, and he's like, "Oh, okay, I'm not gonna lament. Like this is why I'm suffering, and I'm suffering justly." A lot of people won't even make that connection, and so I just see a blessing in there because he's not severed in his mind and is still able to repent, still capable to feel something and to know and to turn to the Most High and be redeemed. So that was
Facts. All right, go ahead. I think it was Monica. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that, like in verse 9, the last verse there, where he's talking about, when with that envious and this, it's so wicked that it creates not only in our mind, our soul, our body. I mean, it just messes us up every which way but loose. I mean, and it just goes to show when this boy was messed up big time because he couldn't sleep, couldn't eat, his mind was going, his body was messed up. And it's just interesting that he went through all of that, but that goes to show when we are that deeply rooted in sin, especially envy, that it will do that to you. And and the other thing which I was really interesting looking at was the first verse where he says, "And my father asked concerning me because he saw that I was sad, and I said unto him, I am pained in my liver." And I don't know if out of fear, out of regret, out of anything, you think he would have repented and told his father basically what they all had done.
Ain't nobody telling Dad what happened.
Yeah,
hey, they kept that secret telling. They were going down to the grave with that story. They wasn't
That's
telling
what I'm
nothing.
saying. I was like, wow.
That is like the worst story.
Yeah.
Original, no snitch.
You just gotta like.
They were quiet.
Put your head down, do the dollar.
But look at the reverse side of it, man. The more, and I know this ain't the testament of Joseph, but the more we read it, man, I'm seeing him as like a Mashiach archetype or like a Messiah.
Absolutely.
Archetype. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's like, what more man of Yah out of an example could we see? Because even after all he went through, being in prison, he got this girl trying to tear his drawers down all the time, and all the different stuff he went through, he could have blamed, but it's like it says, he did not reproach us for this deed, but he loved us as his own life. You know what I mean? He loved them as much as he loved himself, and he didn't show partiality to any of the brothers. So what better example could we look at? You know what I mean?
Man, listen, like, we can dig in this so deep. Break out your forks, your knives, your spoons. We can dig in this thing all day, all night.
Let's eat.
Look, when you even look at this, it's just very, very true. Joseph was an archetype of Mashiach. The fact that he was innocent, he was righteous, he did nothing wrong, and yet he was literally persecuted, oppressed, pierced by his own brethren. And then on top of that, sold to the Ishmaelites. Sold to the Ishmaelites. Okay. Now, Judah was the one that sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites. What happened to Judah? What happened to Judah's kids specifically?
We got sold.
We got sold.
We got sold.
And we got sold by the Ishmaelites and
That's
the
it.
Edomites and the Moabites.
That's right.
And boys.
Justice, poetic justice.
I can't even continue. I can't even talk straight. Yo, man.
But he did save his life, though, at the same time. I'm not equating innocence, but he saved his life, but he did sell him.
Man, we had to pay that price, brother.
Yeah.
All right, let's get with it.
We paid it.
We in that affliction. Whooping. All right, therefore was Joseph comely, beautiful in appearance, and goodly to look upon, because no wickedness dwelt in him. For some of the trouble of the spirit, the face manifests. And now, my children, make your hearts good before Yah, and your ways straight before men, and you shall find grace before Yah and men. Beware, therefore, of fornication. Y'all, the next sentence, you can read it. I'm reading it. Y'all can see it. I can see it. Y'all see what I'm seeing?
Mm-hmm.
For fornication is mother of all evils. Fornication is mother of all evils. Separating from Elohim, from God, and bringing near to Baal. For I have seen it inscribed in the writing of Enoch, that your sons shall be corrupted in fornication, and shall do harm to the sons of Levi with the sword, but they shall not be able to withstand Levi. For he shall wage the war of Yah, and shall conquer all your hosts, and they shall be few in number, divided in Levi and Judah, and there shall be none of you for sovereignty, even as also our father prophesied in his blessings. Go look it up in Genesis. Behold, I have told you all things, that I may be acquitted of your sin. Now, if you remove from you your envy and all your stiff-neckedness, as a rose shall my bones flourish in Israel, and as a lily my flesh in Jacob. And my order shall be as the order of Libanus, and as cedars shall holy ones be multiplied from me forever. And their branches, that's their children, the tribe shall stretch afar off. Then shall perish the seed of Canaan. It's Canaan, but again, it's talking about, again, that envy, zealousness. All right. And the remnant shall not be unto Amalek, and all the Cappadocians shall perish, and the Hittites shall be utterly destroyed. Then shall fail the land of Ham, and all the people shall perish. Then shall all the earth rest from trouble, and all the world under heaven from war. The mighty one of Israel shall glorify Shem, for Yah shall appear on earth, and himself save men. Then shall all the spirits of deceit be given to the trodden, or to be trodden underfoot, and men shall rule over wicked spirits. Then shall I arise in joy, and will bless the Most High because of his marvelous works, because Elohim hath taken a body and eaten with men and saved men. That was 6. What are your thoughts?
Wow.
Was he saying because of his sons continuing to have envy, they would be made like a small tribe in the mix of us?
Yep.
Okay.
Indeed. Thoughts? Anybody else?
I like the instruction given in the second verse where it says, if you divest yourself of envy and hardness of heart, then my bones will flourish. And he talks to goes to talk on. That's a good motivation, man. If you're somebody that's really after the heart of the Most High and after seeing him expand and grow in your life, this right here is one of your keys. Take heed.
Hallelujah.
I'm gonna go back to the third verse that you went on in number 5. Beware therefore of fornication, for fornication is mother of all evils, separating from Elohim and bringing near to Baal. And that's a very, very true, very powerful statement, because a lot of times people just think sexual fornication with our bodies, but we're talking also our spiritual fornication, which is
facts
to the fact that we cannot spiritually fornicate and leave Elohim, and that was the biggest issue, you know. But you know, Christianity, when you were in that, they already talk about the physical, which is wrong too, but the spiritual is the utmost. It's a spiritual fornication that we are not to leave. We're to cleave to Abba Yah. Just like a husband cleaves to his wife, we are to cleave to Abba Yah, and we didn't. And it will lead to destruction when we don't.
That's what I'm talking about.
Hallelujah.
Real talk.
Y'all all right. Y'all all right up in here. Y'all got some wisdom of the Ruach. That's what I'm talking
Praise
about.
Yah. Praise Yah.
That's what I'm talking about. Anybody else? Jump right in. What's your thoughts? There's a lot in there. Ain't nobody gonna talk about that messianic prophecy that slapped you in the face? Nobody? Monica? Deucey? Jordan? Ain't nobody?
Still digesting that one.
It just body slammed y'all. You was like,
pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much. It's deep. That is pretty heavy.
And the great thing about that one is I don't even care what manuscript you pull from, it's still in there.
Right.
That's not a Christian insert.
Hallelujah.
No, and it almost tracks exactly with some of the stuff that's said in Matthew about us having power over these spirits and us treading on them under feet. You know.
Yes, indeed. Mashiach was pulling from this too.
Mm-hmm.
Getting all the stories today. Getting all the stories. All right, let's get it in. We're almost done. And now, my children, obey Levi and Judah, and be not lifted up against these two tribes, for from them shall arise unto you the salvation of Elohim. For Yah shall raise up from Levi as it were a high priest, and from Judah as it were a king. He shall save all Gentiles and the race of Israel. That was an insert, the Gentile part, but it's all good. Therefore, I give you these commands that you also may command your children, that they may observe them throughout their generations. And when Simeon had made an end of commanding his sons, he slept with his fathers, being 120 years old, and they laid him in a wooden coffin to take up his bones to Hebron. And they took them up secretly during a war with the Egyptians, which I cannot wait to get into that. That's a dope story. You can read about it in Josephus. It's dope. It's crazy. It's some epic, like Lord of the Rings type stuff. All right, 4. The bones of Joseph the Egyptians guarded in the tombs of their kings. For the sorcerers told them that on the departure of the bones of Joseph, there should be throughout all the land darkness and gloom, and in exceeding great plague to the Egyptians, so that even with a lamp, a man should not recognize his brother.
So
I'll finish it out. Hold on a second. And the sons of Simeon bewailed their father, and they were in Egypt until the day of their departure by the hand of Moses. All right, Selah.
Salah. Amen.
All right, what are your thoughts? Y'all might need a minute. Y'all might need a minute. Go ahead, take a breath. Take a breather, get a sippy sip of your coffee or your tea or your water. Let that hit you real quick. We almost through. Go ahead.
Interesting
Process
because
through that.
when we see that Yosef was like Mashiach, it's basically even like how Yahusha was like he's the light of the world. So when them bones was gone, it's dark, like nothing, you know. And it's kind of foreshadowing to that darkness plague too that Moshe had by the hand of Yahuwah, you know. Yeah.
Can't even talk. It's deep. Go ahead, y'all. Jump on in.
So 8 and 3, they're talking about a period of time that they kept the bones in there or something, right? I thought Joseph must, because he was buried in Shechem, wasn't he?
Yeah, so eventually they got his bones when they.
Oh yeah, years down the road.
Eventually.
Okay.
They were still there. Like, so this is the time period where he had died, but it was like they hadn't really tried, they hadn't escaped yet. You know what I mean? They hadn't broke through yet. You know what I mean? But what was the prophecy? What was the promise? The promise was, when y'all dip up out of here, take my bones with you.
That's right. Yeah. Okay.
Bury me with my fathers. Don't leave me here. Right? There was a whole thing around that when it came to his death. And so you're looking at a period of time that happened, because so I'm not going to delve into it, but I'll maybe prep for it because it's a dope story. And people don't recognize that Moses was a warrior. Like, he was on some gangster stuff, like for real. And it's no different. Like, we know this. It's no different than right now, right? We got many men and women, young and old, that are in the armed forces of our adversaries, right? Like, they in the U.S. Army, the Marine Corps, the Air Force, what other one they got out there? They in that one too, right? They keep us locked and loaded up in their militaries, okay? Now, a word of caution for our brothers and sisters that are in the military. When you look at the history of situations, when you look at the history of that war that's being referenced to about the Egyptians, and it also has to deal with some Edomites in there too, some situations, but really it's rooted with the Egyptians. The Egyptians were afraid of the Hebrew Israelites. They were afraid. They were already in their ranks as warriors to help fight their wars. But again, the tide had turned, where there rose up a Pharaoh who knew not Joseph, gave no regard to Joseph. And then looking at the, peeping game, right, being about his people, he's sitting there like, look at us and look at how blessed and prosperous these Hebrew Israelites are. Look at all that has happened under the hand of these Hebrew Israelites. They done took over the country. These are foreigners. These are Joseph's kids, in essence, right? They could fight like nobody's business. You put them on task on something, they're gonna make something happen. But we can't allow this to happen any longer. Otherwise, you know what? What happens if they end up siding with our enemies? Don't think that's not happening right here, right now in America, where they're concerned what's going to happen with these Negroes if they end up siding with our enemies. What happens if there is an invasion on our land and our territory, and a foreign nation comes through and says, all y'all Negroes, side with me and I'll give you your freedom? They might shut my live stream down just for saying something like that. They really might shut it down, shut the live down.
Right.
Because that was a fear and concern that was back in Mitzrayim. They were afraid that we would side with the other Africans. They call them Ethiopians, That just meant other folks on the outskirts of Mitzrayim. They were afraid that we would side with the enemies of Egypt and then overthrow them. That's where the seed in the imagination of the mind amongst the Egyptians came to go ahead and bring persecution to our people. So I have to set up institutions and systems to try to basically marginalize you, create laws that really only apply to you. It's supposed to be for everybody, where we only really laying the handiwork on y'all black people, right? And that's what's happening in America. They set up racist institutions to marginalize and oppress us. Y'all, I can get deep. I'm daring to go deep. Now I got my new website. I can say what I want to say and not be tripping. Don't care. But listen, it don't matter about your one or two good folks, good Gentile homies. All 15 of them. Don't matter about these other folks. When as a people collectively, not your individual one-off good ones, collectively, there's an institution of racism and oppression designed for their people to keep you in check, to keep you oppressed, to keep you divided, to keep you fighting amongst yourself, to keep strife and division. Hell, go into prison and get you some of these janky convicts and offer them parole if they get on the street corner and wear some Masonic garb in purple, okay, and act freaking crazy and militant, and they film it and put it on Facebook and put it on YouTube for the purpose of scaring the hell out of black people and our people so that the awakening can be tarnished.
Yeah.
These Negroes cannot wake up to who they are. These Negroes cannot wake up. They got to be scared. Scare them. I don't care. Go ahead. Let them listen. Set the whole scene up. Get some white people. Get these Negroes. Tell them, listen, don't tell the cops. Leave them alone. Let them film their 2-hour documentary special on the corner of Sunset and 5th. Threatening white people and talking about they want to do this and that, act crazy and stupid. Let them film it all. Live stream it on demand on Facebook and YouTube. These crazy people. Because we have to tarnish the awakening. We have to, if we can't stop it, we know we can't stop it, we have to at least delay it. We have to delay the inevitable. At least maybe we can hold them off another 50 years. Maybe we can hit that reset button and we have another jubilee to keep these Negroes in check. Because we did it with the civil rights movement. We did it with the rise of the Black Panther Party. Reset them Negroes. We got to do another reset. We have to reset these Negroes. They can't wake up to who they are. Because of the fear, they're going to rise up. The fear, they're going to side with their enemy. What we going to do if Russia comes through? Because Russia's been targeting these Negroes and sending them little bot troll messages and trying to raise up dissension and trying to do all kind of stuff and get them provoked and talking about the atrocities that's been happening to them and talking about, Russia, we ain't never mess with y'all Negroes like that. We the good guys. So when we come through boot kicking down doors, we're going to be looking for y'all Negroes to side with us. We got your back. We ain't never mess with you. We are the only ones that ain't never tried to do nothing with y'all and exploit y'all. Uncle Sam looking kind of nervous. Uncle Sam looking like Uncle Sam is sweating. Uncle Sam is, what we going to do? We have to find a way to lock these Negroes up before it's too late. It's going down. We already know 400 years is up. Maybe we can try to eke out another 5 or 10 years or something like that. I don't know. The Chinese too? I don't know. What we're going to do? I don't know. Iran? I don't know. I got an awful lot of enemies that could, they could try to rally these Negroes to side with them, and they got an internal force. So we may have to get them before they get us. We may have to continue and increase the persecution against them before they theoretically come against us, because we know what we done did to them, They don't even know what we've fully done to them. They don't know how we've poisoned their water in their community. They don't know how we've had medical staff in their communities sterilize them and try to poison them or give them the wrong diagnosis or medication to mess their mind up and brains up, get them addicted. They don't know that we're popping in and pumping in dope. I can go on and on, but I'm gonna stop. What do you guys thoughts? I'm gonna sit back.
I was going to say, go on.
ahead.
I was going to say, you know, one thing the enemy has failed to understand, though, is that everything is by the hand of Yah. And so they can try all they want. Yah's going to have his say in the end. But in getting back to Simeon in number 7, where he's talking and telling his children to obey Levi and Yehuda. And I think this also comes out of not having that envy that he had towards Joseph, thereby creating the issue. So he's telling his children, obey, because through these two, through Levi and Yehuda, salvation is coming through them. With Yehuda having, you know, the high priest, I'm having the king, and Levi having the high priest. So he's trying to still instill in his children the importance of obeying.
Hey, I'm gonna throw back old school to you real quick. Y'all's grace and y'all salvation from my Portland crew.
Yes.
Simeon 8:3, I found that to be very prophetic also, because it talks about Joseph and the bones and how you know, when they would remove, there would be great plagues in Egypt, and so that's prophetic as to today, because we are the dry bones. And so when we wake up and when we are removed from out of here, it's a wrap for this nation. So
That's good right there.
That's why I love y'all. Y'all be bringing that word. Listen,
Yeah.
You think we have 500 people on these calls every day? Like, y'all, that's what I'm talking about. Y'all be bringing that heat work out.
That's part of the real reason there are.
We gotta replay that.
I agree. If we were to leave tomorrow, America wouldn't have no flavor.
Yes.
So from a theological standpoint, all culture that has been brought forth in this country has come from our people, and it has been robbed from the beginning, and they would just present it with this face.
Repurpose it.
But it all came from the only indigenous art form to this country is jazz. That came from us. The only original anything came from us, and the people that are using it don't even realize that. That's another reason they're scared for us to depart. If we left tomorrow, this place would fall apart and wouldn't have no flavor. None.
Hey man, just not even the flavor. Listen, it's gonna be lights out.
Yeah.
Tombstone.
That's a wrap.
It's gonna be
yeah.
Just like that.
Real talk.
It's a wrap. Listen, when these dry bones bounce, it's over with. Look at, no matter what they talking about, what they say, they can't leave us alone. You look at Marcus Garvey and what his push. This brother was from the Caribbean. He came through. He was like, listen, I'm taking my people. We out. I'm coordinating. I'm moving. Listen, all y'all, I got ships on the way. I'm coming through. That man, listen, everybody need to have Marcus Garvey's work in their collection. They need to go ahead and have that brother on your wall. That brother was the realest brother to be like, listen, I'm doing what I need to do. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I'm coordinating with the brotherhood. We got these ships on the way. We coming to pick y'all up. Make sure you at the port by 9 o'clock. We coming through and we out. America said.
And they sabotage.
Yep. You can't do that, Negroes.
Yep. Sabotage.
All Negroes can't go nowhere. We call y'all nigga all day long and night and lynch you and kill you and rape you and violate you, but y'all can't go nowhere.
We didn't mean go back to Africa. We just said
I know we was just playing, yo.
It's like
we were just playing. I know we said take your black to Africa,
Right.
But then you was like, okay. They're like, no, man. We was just kidding. Hey, we was just kidding. I'm your friend. I'm your friend. Remember me?
No, we good. We good.
I fed you some of them pork chops when you was hungry. I gave you that good piece of that chicken. Listen.
Hey, we out of here.
Listen, if we was like tomorrow, like listen, if y'all ever wondered why nobody on the continent of Africa was ever like, hey, we're gonna coordinate, we're gonna bring our folks back. Number one, the majority of the folks over there ruling in Africa are Edomites, Moabites, or Ishmaelites, just so you know. Even the ones that are doing some good stuff, they still part of the other Hebraic crew. They're not our people. And that's part of the reason why they've been installed in power by Gog Magog to keep Israel in check. So a lot of y'all talking about Esau's the white man. The white man is worse than Esau. I just keep it 1,000. Esau's still in the mix. Esau's, hacking folks' heads off and raping people and doing the most over there in the continent of Africa, in the Middle East, in Yemen, all that. He doing the most. When you see all the crazy atrocities you hear about happening in Africa, yeah, that's them folks. Okay. We're dealing with Gog Magog. Yes, go to Ezekiel 38, 39. Go ahead and read all that stuff. You talk about Gog Magog that nobody wants to talk about. Mongol people, okay, Turk people, House of Togarma, Japheth's kids, right? That's what you're dealing with. So they plotted with Ishmael, Moab, Edom. We're going to lord over you, and you're going to lord over your brothers. That's what you're going to do. So if you want our kickbacks from this currency system we created, and if you wanted your life preserved, you're going to do what we tell you to do. And the moment you get out of line, I'm going to go ahead and pay some other lowly Negro, Hebrew, to take your place. And we'll just go ahead and fund a coup like France does all the time. We'll just go ahead and fund a coup and, So if you ever wonder why ain't nobody in Africa done gone ahead and be like, hey, my brother's hood, come on back home. That's part of the reason why. Eventually, somebody's going to come through and be like, listen, we want all y'all to come back home. This is what happened. This is what was done. But we want you to come back. This is not a place for you to be out there like that. We send in our ships. We're going to do everything we can. Come on through. But real talk, Uncle Sam is scared out his mind. Because Uncle Sam knows that when y'all Negroes leave, if y'all are able to leave, we have no scapegoat. We have no one else on a level of you to oppress. Think about what we just talked about. My sister, Monica, broke down. Like I said, we need to go ahead and replay that 5 times over, okay? We are the dry bones. I need y'all to fill me in all.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All 9 of y'all in the chat right now. Listen very carefully. We are the dry bones that the Egyptian soldiers are guarding in captivity, not seeking to have them be released. We are the dry bones. They will refuse to leave us go or let us go voluntarily. And like someone put in the I think it was Jordan, they sunk those ships. The ships were on the way. Marcus Garvey's ships were on the way, and they got sabotaged because y'all Negroes can't go. If all y'all Negroes bounce, we're done for. So literally, America is holding Yah's chosen people hostage. Holding us hostage.
Right.
Time to make a break. Time to make a break, Doc.
That's okay. Abba Yah's gonna come through, and like we said, this Exodus is gonna be greater than the first Exodus. So we going regardless of what they want.
Oh, it's happening.
Yep.
Even if I don't make it, I know my kids gonna make it. And listen,
yep,
and so I said that's why Uncle Sam recruits so many of us into the military, promises of a better life, and then we're locked into a contract that signs us up for death. That is very, very true. That's very, very true. You look, I remember a long time ago, I was working as a medical claims examiner back in the day. And my wife was saying, hey, my niece is looking for some work. Could you mind looking? There's a job fair down the way. Could you go and see what, pick up some cards or something like that and kind of let her know what's going on because she can't make it. She got the kids. So I said, that's cool. I'll go down there. So I went down to the little job fair. It was downtown Sacramento and somewhere. And I looked, and full force, it was like the Navy had like one black dude in a table, and like they didn't put forth no effort to try to recruit nobody in the Navy. Air Force had a bunch of white guys standing around. They were pretty young and they're in uniform, and they were kind of really weren't saying much of what the Air Force does and what you can kind of do in the Air Force. But there was a little bit of effort there in regards to the Air Force. The Army, on the other hand, they had like a full-blown section with like pull-up bars, 2 Humvees, had like a 50 cal weapon, and like 15 brothers swole up in there. And they had their whole recruit machine going. They were like, come on, we're going to do push-up competitions and everything. I'm just like, dang, looking at these folks, I'm like, man, you know what I mean? And it's like, why do so many Hebrew Israelites gravitate towards the Army? You're the grunt, you're the front line, infantry soldier type stuff. You know what I mean? Gang of Negroes up in the Army. A gang of them. And it's just like Tina said, they want to make sure they put us, in their army. And so I may end up doing that another time very soon. Midweek, maybe we could do a midweek Bible study in regards to this period of time that has never been openly talked about by anybody. I peruse through and see what folks are talking about. I have not really heard anybody talk about the war with the Egyptians in regards to Moses and the Israelites, and even with the Edomites and different things that were going on. Nobody talks about that period of time that's between the time of Joseph and before the Exodus. Nobody talks about that story. What happened in the wars that were fought is dope. We'll get to it maybe next week. But anybody else have any input they want to touch on this? We are done. This is it. We out of here early today. So, but anybody else have anything they want to go ahead and say before we close out in prayer? Floor is open. Go ahead and unmute yourselves and say your piece to the body here gathered online today, and then also for those that may hear in the future, any words you may want to say. Go ahead.
I just have a question, Maury.
Mm-hmm.
Where you were saying earlier that Leah and Rachel were twins, where can we find that information? Because it's not in the Bible.
You can find that in the Testament of the 12 Patriarchs, and you can also find that in, I want to say, Jubilees.
Okay. Oh, Jordan said Joshua 28.
Yeah, we actually just Googled it, and it came up and said it was in Joshua chapter 28. Actually mentioned.
Yeah, it might be in Joshua too. I'll tell you real quick. Jubilees over Joshua. Joshua is a composite work that is kind of hodgepodge together from many different works. I'm saying that on the side. Joshua's a great work. Everybody should read it. but just know that Jubilees is like bulletproof. Jasher has some holes in it that you have to dig deeper than just I read the book of Jasher to know about. But yeah, you can find great information in both Jasher and Jubilees. Definitely read it.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
How
All right,
about
go ahead. Open up.
how about this Egyptian war? Where'd you say that was at again?
You're gonna find that in Josephus,
Oh, yeah.
in detail, in great detail. There's some other Hebraic writings that speak about it, but you're really gonna read about it in Josephus. Okay. It's in little portions in Jasher and Jubilees as well, but you're gonna get a lot of the deeper root, the deeper context that Josephus provides. It's not just little bullet point snippets here. Like he's going into details of what happened and where and with whom. So it's pretty good.
Okay, Toda.
Mm-hmm. All right, so you forgot what I asked you to do? Come on.
So it was the Black Star Line that Marcus Garvey, for anybody that wants to research it, it was the Black Star Line. And you can begin your research there and read about the events that happened surrounding what he was doing at the time.
All right, again, jump right in there. We're done. So say your parting words. And then I'll close out in prayer.
I think this was a very good reading this time with Simeon, and it brought up a lot of interesting talk among us. And again, I'm loving the fact about the dry bones, loving the fact on what it really means. This lower end of how come they were guarding Joseph's bones and how that really pertains to us. So I'm grateful for this reading. Thank you.
I just kind of wanted to say that with this story, it just makes me think, like growing up, I used to fight with my brother and sister a lot, but it never got to a point where I ever wanted to like kill them or sell them into slavery or anything. But still some parts of that stuff that I didn't like about my brother and sister, I have taken into my adulthood. And being in this truth, I've had to step back and just realize, okay, they're not in the truth. I am walking in this walk. I can't still have that same feeling towards them that I used to have, like when we were kids, you know, something I just can't stand about my brother, something I can't stand about my sister. And we had to grow up like that. And some of that stuff you still see in them as adults. And then, you know, I think about with Simeon, I don't want to hold no envy towards them. I don't want to hold on to anything because now I have a new life, a new walk. And so even though my brother and sister are the same, I'm different, so I can change how I feel about them. I can change me if I can't change them. And so it just makes me think about the relationship with brothers, you know, and sisters all together. Of course, we all heard of arguing with your brother and sister growing up, but sometimes it can get to an extent where you have brothers and sisters who don't talk to each other for years because of a falling out, you know, holding on to that. And we still live in that same thing that Simeon and his brothers lived in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they keep us away from our Hebraic teaching and understanding, because the Most High teaches us against that. You know, if we knew all these things and when Israel was together, for the most part, not all the way, there was always some mess going on, but for the most part, we had this teaching and understanding that we are supposed to look out for our brother and our sister, and we're supposed to work together, you know, but now they have taken that and pretty much tried to do everything they can to turn us against one another. So, you know, so this teaching kind of helps, you know, get you to understand that, hey, we really, if we're going to do anything, we got to unify, we got to do it together. But the only way we can unify and do it together is if we come back to the laws, statutes, and commands of the Most High and do it the way He said do it.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Praise Yah.
I just think it's awesome how, we give all praise and glory to the Most High, because he's the greatest author you ever could want to read. Like how all of these things, there's like little gems here and there that connect these pieces together. And then you see what we're going through right now. I mean, you can't even put this in a movie, like how this is coming together. But it's going to be like greater than any grand finale Avengers movie.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So,
Well, my brother, our God is a drama God. He loves drama. So, when you read the scriptures, there's always drama, and we have to go through this drama before he steps in and delivers us, like he delivered the Hebrew boys from the fire. I mean, we go through and look at all those scriptures in the Old Testament. You see the time and time again when we were really, really in trouble and we should have been counted out. The Most High stepped in and saved the day. So our God loves drama. Better than you can get on, As the World Turns or General Hospital or any of that kind of stuff.
As the
God
world
loves
turns.
drama.
For it.
Taking you back.
I think this is a good example. If you are a man or a woman walking the path of Yah, that you're going to be tested. So everything that Joseph went through was a test. For our example, and if you pass that test, Yah's going to elevate you to royalty so he can get the glory.
Yes. Hallelujah.
Man, hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Amen, brother. Amen. Oh, he gets all the glory.
Yes. Yeah.
Anybody else jump right in?
Yeah.
Go ahead, sis.
Just to summarize, I just really appreciate how Abba Father allows us to just be in tune with our ruach so that we can recognize our withered hands, so to speak. And then also very gently letting us know that we can always turn to him for deliverance of the things that are causing us to misstep or be stiff-necked or not in accord with him. That we can take refuge in him to be delivered and taken away from what's holding us back and keeping us from unity with him, with our brothers and sisters. So.
Praise Yah.
Praise Yah.
Praise Yah.
Praise Yah.
All right, anybody else? Jump right in.
Yeah, I love how this the testimonies of the 12 patriarchs, this one especially, how you see everything in the spiritual realm manifested, like how Koti Monica was pointing out, like those dry bones of Joseph correlate to how we are now and how they're scared to let us go to like, so basically it's explaining everything, that there's a reason for everything, the way the Most High organizes everything. So it, like me, I was the kind of kid where I would definitely understand whoopings, and they made me act right, but it made me feel guilty when my mom would explain things to me and reason with me and force me to reason and to have everything kind of explained. Like, it's good to have faith, but then when you have that understanding, this is the spiritual consequence for you being this way. That's what I was going to say about how a lot of these patriarchs are talking about when you have this stored up in you, it causes infirmities in your internal organs. It manifests physically.
Mm-hmm.
And so there is a correlation from the spiritual truth in the spiritual realm that comes into this realm. And there's a reason for all of these commandments, for his right ruling everything. You get to see it a lot more in detail in these 12 patriarch testimonies. I appreciate that. And it's a great lesson, real eye-opening.
Praise Yah.
Amen.
All right, again, anyone else that has not spoken yet that wants to say something, go ahead. I'm about to pray out. All right. Abiyah, thank you for this time again that we've had to come together in your name and according to your word and by your presence surrounding us this day. I just thank you for the word that's gone forth, and I'm thankful that it's been able to fall upon good ground of the heart, and that the words of truth shall permeate within us and bring forth the righteous fruit, the righteous seed bearing that you desire from us, your children. I thank you that all that is wrong within us is being purged out of us, and we were able to make the corrections we need to make now so that we can be in full right standing with you as you bring forth your judgment across this land and across these nations. We just lift up each other to you unto righteousness, seeking to do your will. I right now ask that your perfect will be made known and manifest in the lives of each and every one online here this day, those that are watching online, those that will watch in the future. I just uplift them to you right now, and I pray for your Malachim to go forth again down those righteous paths to restore them and bring them to the path of right standing in you. That if there's anything in them that is not righteous, anything in them that is not of you, I pray that it gets purged out. I thank you for your hedge of protection. I thank you for your mercy. I thank you for your grace on myself, my family, as well as these, my brothers and sisters here on this live chat, here online, here watching abroad, and those watching around the world, those that are hearing the sound of my voice and the voice of my brothers and sisters. I just thank you. I pray for your continued hedge of protection to be upon us and all that we're stewards over. I pray for your continued manifested health being made manifest in our lives. I thank you for the healing power of your word and your presence dwelling amongst us. We give you all the glory, praise, honor, and adoration. We thank you for all that you're doing. In the name of your son, Yeshua HaMashiach, amen, amen, hallelujah.
Amen.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
Praise
Hallelujah.
God.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
All right, family, parting words. I do want to ask, very interesting, I think about it. I want to ask for a few of you from each assembly to say something. So I'm going to start with Arizona. Those of you that are in the Arizona Assembly that are here online right now, all I need is a few words just of encouragement and just to invite people to come and connect with you guys that are in the Arizona area that want to assemble. Go ahead and say something, say a few words. And then after Arizona, let's get somebody from Portland to speak some words. And then lastly, we'll do Seattle, Tacoma. All right, so let's start with Arizona. Just a few words. Doesn't have to be all deep, but just say a few little words for those that can be aware of the assembly out there and they can get connected.
Shalom, shalom, family. This is Lisa E. And I'm out here in Arizona Assembly. And it's been very beautiful, very edifying to have family out here in Arizona. It's such a blessing. Our doors are definitely open. If you guys want to come and fellowship with us, the integrity and maturity that Moray Dwayne has, coupled with his love, with the love that he has for Yah's people, is impeccable and has definitely changed and helped my life. So all praise to the Most High. And it's definitely needed to, and definitely I'm grateful every day that I wake up to be a part of such a beautiful family. So hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Yeah, it feel like we've known each other for like 5 years or something crazy. It's deep.
It does feel like that. It does feel like that.
It's deep. It's deep. Praise Yah. Hallelujah. Yeah. If you are in the Arizona area of, let's say, Phoenix, Mesa, Arizona, definitely get connected. Even if you're just in the state or that area, just still contact us that have that fellowship. All right. This is the time. Like, there's no time to waste. Get connected. Period. That's it.
Yes.
You don't got time to patty cake around and putt around with your life. You know, you need to get connected and be able to be around brothers and sisters that can break down the script like you are experiencing here on just this. We've been on here for about 3 hours. I mean, the level of breakdown of the script has been amazing. So praise Yah. Okay, Portland, go ahead.
Hi, this is Shalom family. This is Mayala up here in Portland. Want to say that whenever this COVID is done, we waiting to get back together and fellowshipping with the Mishpachah here. And it's an awesome assembly and looking forward to growing. Hopefully we'll start having more of us in this area awaken to
you got to speak about faith. You got to speak about faith, Mayala. You got to just claim it. Ain't no hopefully in this we doing this thing. Ain't no hopefully
by faith. Yep.
That's right. We doing
Let me correct that.
Yeah.
We are expecting people to have the assembly grow out here in Portland, and just looking forward to fellowshipping and growing and digging deeper into Yah's word with the understanding that he provides through his Ruach and everything. And just absolutely, if anyone wants to come in, let us know. We will open arms for folks.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. And if I can just kind of land back on my sister. My name is Don. I'm here in Portland as well. And we do have the most amazing assembly. Was in the church for years and years. And it wasn't until I came into the truth that I realized that you cannot have correct breakdown of the scriptures without a Hebrew Israelite. Without us, the scriptures make no sense at all. And so I thank God for Moray Dwayne that leads us and guides us, for Mayala, who is just the rock for our assembly, and all the folks that join us when we're able to get together. It's an amazing assembly. We just believe in the Most High for growth like no other, and we just, it's just amazing. I just thank God for it. So, thank you.
Amen.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. All right, and then my Seattle Tacoma crew that holds it down with me every week. Go ahead, jump on in.
It's your boy Eliyah out of the Tacoma, Seattle Assembly. It's a great assembly. We very welcoming to our brews coming out and fellowshipping with us and getting out there and really just getting into the community and really just trying to turn this around, and get our people to wake up. That's what we do. I mean, it's lockdown, but we still try to do what we can. Moray Dwayne is amazing. Moray, he's guided me and leaded me and built me up to be a leader. And I appreciate that. All praises for you for being that leadership, being that Moray. Thank you. Contact us. You can get at us at HebrewAwakened@gmail.com. So email us. We would love to have you guys. Praise Yah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. All right, y'all. So again, I appreciate each and every last one of you that have joined us here today. Those of you watching online, I do greatly appreciate that. Real talk, I really do. It's been amazing. It really has. Again, those of you watching online, we have the new website, HebrewConnect.org, for you to go ahead and get connected with other Hebrew brothers and sisters. There is a forum section there. You can go ahead and create a space for yourself. We're going to be having these teachings live streamed throughout the week. I'm in the process of coordinating with my hosting company to enable 24/7 live streaming. So because YouTube is tripping with me, I just have to go ahead and kind of go around that. I'll be on YouTube still. For those of you that are still bound to YouTube like that, and Facebook, but a lot of my more raw, real content is going to be on the website, just on the page. It'll be right there on the homepage. You'll be able to see it right there. So I encourage everyone, every Hebrew Israelite, to go ahead and get connected, and we'll go from there. All right, so shalom. Everybody enjoy the rest of your Shabbat. And I appreciate you guys joining me for part 6. So part 7, we almost through. We almost through. And then I'm going to come with you with that intermediate Hebrew lesson. We're about to get into reading some words and getting that grammar
Here we
down.
go. Amen. Amen.
And we're going to talk about all the verbs and adverbs and consonants and everything else. All right, y'all. Be blessed. Much love to you all. And we will see you guys next time. I will see y'all soon.
Man.
Shalom.